Okay.
What the hell?
The thing didn't go on. It's not going on.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Oh, and Zach is already in the house. Really likes music choice, nice and spooky.
As long as I don't hear it at night.
It'll be creepy, like in the middle of the night. You hear the doo 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 doo.
I'm like, friggin' Melanie.
Hey, let me tell you, I had the scare of my life this morning. At
What
5
happened?
o'clock, I went outside to have a smoke, and there's this guy in the driveway. I was never so scared in my life. I was going to slam the door.
She called me over, and I'm looking at him like, there is a guy in the driveway.
Who was it?
I found out that is a school bus stop, and that's the kid waiting for the bus.
I had no idea that my house was the local school bus, which means I'm sleeping in the morning and I never see the kids get off. So it's a teenager. He had the hood on and everything. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. He's like waiting out there for the bus, and the bus.
I was so scared when I saw this kid in my driveway. At first, I thought it was a grown person because he had the hoodie on and everything. I said, "Oh my God, we're gonna be robbed." And then I realized he was waiting for the school bus in our driveway.
Zach, you're still in the hospital? What's up? The only reason we're doing today on Tuesday is because next Thursday is Thanksgiving, so we're not going to have a show next Thursday. And this week, I have my surgery on Friday, and Thursday we're going to be out of town. So we agreed, let's do a show on Tuesday. But Zach, I'm so sorry.
I wasn't going to be able to do Thursday either, so.
Yeah. So, Zach, we want you to get better. We want you to get out of the hospital. We hope we can entertain you for the next couple of hours as Melanie brings chaos
Zach,
to
Zach, now I'm gonna be nosy, Zach. What are you in the hospital for? You still bothering those nurses?
That's if you want to share that. Aww.
No, I don't care. He needs to share it.
You need to tell us right now.
What are you doing in the hospital? What's the matter? What happened?
Well, we hope you feel better. That's the important thing. Quick recovery, and we want you to get out of there so you could. Oh, that's right. I missed all that. Well, you didn't miss much because I haven't really been doing anything. I did a couple of pop-ups here and there, but I've been spending time with this one over here. Which, in case nobody remembers, this is my mom, Valerie. She's here. She's here. Of course, we have Susana is in the house as well, and we're going to be talking about flat Earth.
She finally has it. Flat Earth.
I am going to be in so much trouble after this one. They're going to cancel me.
No, they're not. You say that every week, and every week we see your beautiful face.
Yes, but every week this show has to be censored because it completely loses ad revenue, and I get absolutely nothing for this show because it gets content violations.
Oh boy.
So that's why I just like content. I didn't make this one 18 or older because we're not necessarily going to be talking about inappropriate things, although it might turn that way. we're just going to give some theories. In fact, we went to the thrift store and I bought a ball, so this way I could do some.
That's the earth.
Or a basketball.
Yeah, because I was thinking I wanted to do some visuals, but I don't have a ball anywhere in the house. So we were at the store, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm getting the ball." I'm crazy. We are crazy, aren't we? Yeah. Well, I'm crazy. Yes, it's fun though.
So, what you guys do this weekend?
We went to at the local air hangar. They had a holiday festival where they had like thousands of vendors.
Oh,
I mean, it was
so many vendors.
Really?
Unbelievably amount. But the thing is, everything was so expensive. But they it was just so many holiday things. It was amazing. You could take pictures with Santa Claus and stuff like that. So we were walking through the convention center, looking at all the things.
Nice.
And then we went for a nice walk in the park. It was really nice.
Yes.
You went for a walk in the park.
In the park.
The park. Yeah, they have
a car.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Where did you park your
car?
I parked my car.
I had to take it easy though, because I can't walk too much.
Yeah, but that was really a nice park.
Yeah, they have like a little waterfall. I call it the muddy waterfall because half the time the water is like this blood red mud as it falls down.
Is it clay?
Yeah, everything's clay over here. So the water turns like mud.
Yeah, our front yard is clay.
Is it clay? Oh.
Yeah. It's
morning,
red. It's red, the dirt.
Hi, Beth.
Hey, Beth.
So we were doing different things. We went to thrift stores. We went to the park. We went to the hangar thing. We saw improv show the other day. So we've been doing a lot of stuff. Next week we're going to see. Yeah, hello, Spirit Junkie. Oh, Zach said he had a mass in the lower intestine, which was causing problems. Oh, we are going to send you positive vibes and healing, Zach, because we hope you're okay. And
that's
hello,
right.
Spirit Junkies in the house. Hello.
Oh, Zach. I'm sorry, honey.
We want you to feel better. Stay positive.
Yeah, definitely.
Wishing you the best.
But other than that, we've been taking it a little easy.
Watching a lot of TV, ordered dinner out.
Yes. She read my book last night. She's like, no comment.
No, I tell you, Melanie has a thing for writing. I mean, she's really good at it.
Yeah.
You know, it was.
She's like, no.
No comment on the book, but it was good writing. You know.
Are you a little disturbed?
Am I a little what?
Disturbed.
She's not admitting. See, no comment.
So, Val, let me ask you, did you have an inkling ever?
Oh, I know how my daughter is. and I know she's been in bad relationships. And, you know, sometimes I try to talk her out of it, but you know what? You learn from your mistakes.
And there's so much that as a parent can do that.
Hopefully I'm getting into a good relationship now. Sorry if it doesn't make sense, but you're in a lot of pain, Zach. I spent all day. Oh, and you know something, Zach, I feel bad. I haven't done any videos. That's one of the things I am going to be doing because this weekend I'm probably going to be relaxing the whole weekend. So I want to get back to doing some of those shorts and those videos because I miss doing that. It's just I've been so busy the past couple of days and I wanted to get things squared away. So, but yeah, I'll start doing more videos.
This is our vacation.
It is a vacation.
See?
I know.
It says.
Wrong side. Other side.
I'm retired.
Retired.
I thought she was showing us her boob.
Everything's backwards, so you got to think the other way.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into this. I think we're gonna get into this. Susana, I want to start with you.
Okay.
I guess start with you. What do you think about what's your opinions? Anything you want to throw in about the topic?
Well, I've looked into the topic, and I don't believe. I'm a believer of a round Earth. I'm not a believer of a flat Earth. It just does not make sense. And I mean, it's out there. It's proven that we're a round Earth.
Is it?
I 100% think so.
And anybody out there in the chat, throw in your comments because, all right, as a society, we are taught that the Earth is round. That's what we're taught by science. That's what we're taught in schools. That is what everybody teaches us. And now all of a sudden, there is a huge population that's saying, no, you guys are all wrong. The Earth is flat.
Thank you, Zach.
We're not rotating. We're not moving. We are flat. We are stationary. Everything else moves around us. We're in a dome. So it really is mind-boggling how this is literally a topic that no matter which side of the fence you choose, there is so much evidence supporting both. So like right now, I could literally hit a glove. Zach, I know that's what society is going to teach you. I'm going to bring some evidence that maybe it may lead to you thinking otherwise. I looked into it too, but the information about the plane flights was actually okay, we're going to get into that. I have my little slideshow. I had to do a slideshow on this one because a lot of it you need to visually see it as opposed to me telling you. So if you visually see it, look up at what? Look up at the sky?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm actually interesting. How does looking up prove that it's round? I'm curious. But yes, everything that you guys say, I have evidence to contradict it. But it's contradicting on both ends. So by the end of this show, you're going to be completely confused. And you'll be like, what is real? What is not real? Because at this point, we don't even know anymore. So let's start off with things you actually see. Okay? And I'm going to start asking questions. So let me pull up my slideshow. Because does everybody remember that we just had a solar eclipse?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, just to give some regional geography, Susana, you're in Massachusetts. You were in New York. The pattern of the solar eclipse actually went from Texas, which Texas was prime area. I was able to see it. Went from Texas straight up almost to Washington, and it was mostly the Southwest. So now my question for you guys is, did either one of you see anything with the eclipse? Did you see darkening of the skies? Did you see anything or anything like that?
No, I didn't notice that.
I didn't see anything.
Okay, so I'm going to pull up this really, really interesting photograph because this is a NASA photograph which shows the eclipse of how the shadow from the eclipse landed on Earth, which is a very, very interesting perspective. And is it safe to say that anything that this was a solar eclipse? Lunar eclipse is during the night, solar is during the day. Did I say that right? Or is it the other way around? Yeah. This was the solar one, the Ring of Fire. And are you talking about the sun like a month? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm going to pull it up. It was October 18th that we're talking about. Hold on, let me just get my sheet. Here we go. Okay, so is it safe to say, everybody, if I give NASA photographs, that's going to be the legitimate photographs of factuality. You know what I mean? Is it safe to say that for the purpose of the show, if I talk about anything that NASA says, that will be the agreement of what is true? Is that correct? If everybody believes me on that one? Okay, so this is a photograph, which let me blow it up a little bit so we can show you, because there's something very, very interesting about this photograph. Okay, so this is the joint NASA, NOAA, and U.S. Air Force satellite photo. It was the eclipse that was captured from space, and it shows that North America is completely covered in darkness. So right here, this black spot right here is supposed to be the eclipse at the moment the moon was in front of the sun and cast its shadow on Earth. Well, here's where the problem is. This entire mass is the United States. So what this is saying is the entire United States should have been shrouded in darkness. But yet, not even in Texas were we shrouded in darkness. I was able to see partially the ring. In fact, when I looked at the ground with the leaves, you were able to see the crescent leaves, which was actually kind of cool. But there was no darkness. I didn't see any darkness. It didn't turn black. In fact, it was actually really, really bright and clear. But according to NASA's photograph, the entire United States should have looked like it was nighttime. So that's issue number one. And this was just recently, October 14, 2023. Hello, Lisa's Adventure. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Lisa.
So I want to know, anybody in the chat. Oh, wait, Zach says NASA is shit. There is a saying, NASA, not a space agency. And also an interesting thing, NASA in Hebrew, the word NASA actually means deception.
Okay.
So that's an interesting thing about NASA. So if you want to know a little information about that. It was very close here in Arizona. It seemed like twilight. Okay, did it? Because like I said, I did not experience darkness. And I actually went outside during the eclipse. I took my camera, took a picture of it. I couldn't get a good photograph of it or anything like that. But looking around, it was like bright day. There was no twilight, no nothing. But like I said, according to this picture, if you look at the Earth, this entire section is all the way from Canada down to South America. We should have been totally shrouded in darkness for that time. And I'm just curious how many people experienced darkness on October 14th. And it would have been at around, because if I'm not mistaken, it was around 1:30 in the afternoon.
Spirit said we didn't have good weather either, so.
Okay, so
we didn't have darkness.
No.
But even if it was cloudy, here's the question. If it's cloudy, then it should have got extremely darker, because not only do you have the shadow from the moon, you would have the cloud cover, which is blocking the sun even more. Now, I'm bringing this up for a reason. There's a couple of reasons why I'm showing this picture, and I'm going to go back a slide, because if you notice, I have the red the red lines. Every single picture with NASA confuses me. And you know why it confuses me? Because you will always see the complete round Earth. You'll always see the round Earth. They show you a picture right there. The Earth is round. You're seeing it round. Okay, the top half I cut off. I'm sorry about that. But you're always seeing. So what that means is you're seeing this side and this side of open space. So what that means is if the Earth is completely round, no matter where you put a point in its center and draw a line, it will always be the same radius and the same diameter. Okay, we're doing math here. Does that make sense? Yeah. Because from NASA, and I'm going to go back a slide just to show you. Okay, so facts straight from NASA. The Earth has a radius of 3,959 miles. Radius being from one point to the center. Diameter would be from this end to this end, okay? So you just have to double your radius. So here's a picture directly from NASA. If the radius, which would be from this center point all the way to the edge, is 3,959, that would mean from here to here, would be 7,918 miles. Oops, I just moved my line. Sorry, guys. I moved my line. I didn't want to move the line. Uh-oh. Let me put that line back. Okay, sorry about that. So let's look at the United States. If I took a ruler and measured the United States, it is roughly 2.5 inches. So what it's saying is that each inch, based on that globe, should be 3,167.2 miles. That's what it should be. However, the actual mileage of the United States, if we go from California straight across, I'm sorry, from Maine to Washington straight across, is 2,742 miles. So why is there a difference of 425 miles based on this exact picture if we're going by the math of how much they say the Earth is? Where did the 425 miles go?
Maybe they're doing it from an island to another island.
No, I'm going straight across from the complete edge of Washington to Maine, going straight across. Okay, Spirit says I'm wrong. Okay, great. Tell me how I'm wrong, because like I said, this is a complete open dialogue. I'm just throwing out facts, and anything that I throw out doesn't necessarily what I believe in. Not necessarily, but. So Zach says it was very much like twilight. It seemed like the sun was going down for about an hour, and it started to get lighter. The Earth is a sphere. You would cut the sphere through the middle from the edge of the center to the flat of the radius, from edge to edge of the flats. Okay, so from edge to edge. So if we were to cut that in half, would it be from the one side to the other side? Would be the 7,918 miles? I mean, I'm talking like equator zone.
There's a reverb.
There's a reverb?
Yeah.
I think it's coming from you, Ma. Can you hear me now? Yeah, it's coming. It's your you might have to.
Well, let me mute it, see what happens.
Yeah, I just muted. There's nothing. So you see how it's nothing? So it's coming from your end, Ma. All right, just unmute you if you need to talk.
Okay.
Well, did she shut the door?
The door's shut.
The door's already shut, yeah. Yeah, it's her it might be her volume, or it might be
I could lower it a little bit.
Yeah, try lower it a little.
All right, how's
okay,
that?
So let's see. No, we still hear it.
All right, I'll leave it on mute then.
Okay. Just unmute it when you want to talk.
All right.
If you're talking about distance on the outside of a sphere, that is the circumference. From the outer edge of the sphere all the way around the circumference. That is correct, yeah. Circumference would be all the way this way. That's the circumference. Supposedly Android phones are making weird echoes lately. Yeah, we've been having problems with the reverb. So, okay, so what Spirit is saying is based on this, it would be going from the center of the Earth outward. But here's the question. How do we know how deep it goes if we're going that far? How about we use common sense that everything is spherical? Is everything spherical, Zach? Or are you just saying the Earth is spherical? And like I said, this is what flat earthers are saying. Just because I'm saying this doesn't necessarily, I'm just throwing out that everything you guys say about the Earth, the flat earthers will say something scientific to back it up.
But
just as science. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
But if you look at that picture right in front of you, right?
Yes.
It's showing you North America and South America, right?
Correct. Yes.
On the other side, it is
would be like Europe.
Mm-hmm. Africa. You have Australia. You have, Asia, all the other continents. So if it was flat, you would be able to see everything in that picture.
Not necessarily.
How?
Okay, because you're looking at the Earth this way as flat, but flat earthers are talking about the Earth being this way. So everything will be here, not here.
But it still doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. It would matter.
How would it matter? Because you're looking at it straight on.
From this perspective, you're looking at it from this point of view. But flat earthers are saying that it's from this point of view.
Okay, so I'm not getting it. I'm not getting what you're saying. It's like, if you're taking a picture straight on.
Why don't you see the whole thing if it's flat?
Exactly.
Because, like I said, you're looking at it from this perspective, not this perspective. You're not going to see.
But if you were to look at it at this perspective, you wouldn't be able to see anything because you're just getting.
Correct. Yes, that is correct. The only thing that you would see from that perspective is the different elevations of mountains.
Okay, so you're not seeing that.
Correct. We're not. But see, I'm gonna go further into this because there's an interesting thing, and that's why I'm showing this photo. Now, here we go. My math about spheres doesn't hold true. Further, and let me specify, this is not my math. We're discussing what people are saying, and this is what flat earthers will say. First of all, the United States is above. That is correct. However, the line that I'm showing is not necessarily the equator, because let's just say this is the globe, that this line right here is the equator. But if you're not looking at it from this perspective, and say you're looking at it from this perspective, the line of the equator is down here. However, it's still, if you're cutting it, because I'm just showing the lines cut in half, radius and diameter. A circle can have an infinite amount of radius and diameters depending upon what point of the circle you're looking at.
Yeah,
so
I didn't sign up for math. I hate math. Math is my worst apology.
So that's what I'm saying. So if this line is always going to be the equator, this line right here, but let's say we're not looking at it from this perspective. Let's now say we're looking at it from this perspective. Then the equator is going to be this way because that's where the line is. The line that I'm following, that's the equator. We're looking at it from a different angle. So no matter which...
The Earth doesn't turn that way.
The Earth, I'm sorry, the Earth doesn't do what?
The Earth does not turn that way.
Correct. As science is saying right now, what the Earth is turning is the Earth on its own axis is turning, which also goes around like this, around the solar system, which is also following the sun and turning at the same time, going into a direction at around 1,000 miles an hour. Did you follow that? Or
I did. I'm just reading the next one. Exactly.
Okay, so I don't believe in flat Earth. I believe that most of the pictures are incorrect. For example, we landed on the moon, but the photos and videos were because they're hiding something. Zach will get into that. So if it's flat, where does it end? That's the question, because here's the theory. What if space is not up, but space is out? Something to think about.
If space is not up and we look up in the sky.
Yeah.
So, and we see space.
Do we?
At night, you see all the stars and all the galaxies and all of that.
Okay, this, I will say this, and that's why this is going to kill me. The show is going to kill me. This show ties in every single conspiracy theory that we have talked about on the show. That's what's great about flat Earth, because every single thing we talked about. So now remember, I talked about waters above versus the waters below. The idea is that space is actually water up there. And that's why the sky is blue, because we are in a dome, a firmament, and outside the dome is all water. Everybody's going to get angry with me, like, I can't talk. Yes. So the belief is that outside the dome is water. And there are some things to prove that.
So let me ask you a question. So if outside is water, the other planets are in water that we see?
Okay. Remember I said, what if space is not up, but spaces out. And remember, I talked about many times that we are surrounded by Antarctica, which is an ice wall, the Arctic Circle. The planets are beyond the Arctic Circle and are going out on the plane, not up. What if that's the case? So remember I said, we're not looking at it from this point of view, we're looking at it from this point of view.
Okay, so what's above the water?
Good question. What is above the water? If we look biblical, it talks about waters above and waters below. What is above the water?
But to me, that's rain. Water's above.
Rain comes from the clouds and falls down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, or maybe it's a hole in the firmament, and that's where the water is raining from. Who knows?
That's condensation that built.
We are all okay, Lisa. Perfect example. We are all walking sideways. Let's bring the ball up because I love these examples. Here, let's just say good old Franklin right here is North America, and this would be South America, and then on the opposite side you'll have Australia.
So you just showed that it's around Earth. Okay.
I'm answering what society is teaching us. So that would mean that the people on Australia are actually upside down the entire time on the ball. They're upside down. They would be upside down because we're up here. This is our head. This is our legs. So we're standing right here in North America. But in Australia, in order for them to stand, they're going to be upside down the entire time because that's where they are.
Yeah, they would have to be upside down.
They're going to be upside down the entire time.
Right,
So that answer.
Then that's where you get gravity.
Correct. And yes, that's the whole gravitational theory, that the gravitational theory is they don't feel like they're upside down because the Earth is pulling in their gravity in the ball. Mm-hmm. So they're upside down, but it doesn't seem like they're upside down because the gravity is pulling them upward. But here's a question. How does it hold all the water? How does the water from the ocean hold to the Earth? That's a question. Why isn't the water on this side just falling off of the Earth if gravity is not that powerful? I mean, how powerful is gravity? I could easily take something and just throw it up, and it comes back down, but this is like the lightest thing compared to water, how heavy it is. How is it that the water on the Australian side is going upside down through gravity? How is it holding in place? So that's a question. So the whole galaxy is flat too? We don't know. We don't know what's past our galaxy because according to NASA, there are infinite amount of galaxies. The Milky Way is just one galaxy in a sea of so many galaxies. So we don't know. Okay, how do flat Earth people explain that drains in northern hemisphere? Okay, good question, Spirit Junkie. What she's talking about is if you flush the toilet in North America, it goes one way, but in South America, it goes the other way. How do we explain that? You know something? I didn't even look that up, but I know that is a phenomenon, and it's a very interesting phenomenon. I personally think it has to do with the magnetic pole shift. That's what I think it has to do with, but I don't know because I didn't research that. But it is a good question. But you know something? I will research that and I'll come up with an answer. But that is a phenomenon. What happens is that in the northern hemisphere, you flush your toilet, you turn on the water, it'll go in one direction compared to on the other side, it goes in the other direction. Where it gets a little tricky would be something like Singapore, because Singapore is right on the equator. So I always questioned, how does water flow in Singapore? And I actually asked somebody who lived in Singapore. And the question is, it's the way their drains are. They don't design their drains the way we do, because the way their drains are, it just goes straight down. So I'm like, wait a minute, what do you mean it just goes straight down? If you notice our toilet bowls, they have the circular pipes with the circle. They don't have that. Theirs just goes straight down. So there is no rotation of water. Something interesting.
But if you take the bowl, and if you take it out, you're still going to get it go straight down. It's when the
Due to
water
gravity.
hits the bowl, and then you get that the swirling motion.
Correct.
It's just going to go straight down.
It's still going to go straight down, but it's almost like have you ever seen those things where you take a quarter and it goes around and around and around? It just keeps going around and around in one of those things, and it goes faster and faster as the hole gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
That quarter is going in one direction.
Okay. Do they use that in Australia?
It'll go the opposite direction.
It does show that it goes the opposite direction?
Correct. Yes, it does.
I think that has to do with the magnetic pull.
That's what I think.
Same thing with the water.
Yeah. And I think that's what it is where the magnetic poles are, because everything is automatically going to go to magnetic north, which used to be the direct top of the earth, but now magnetic north is a little towards the side because they're saying that the earth is supposedly shifting. Siphoning effect. Yes, that's exactly what it is. For whatever reason, the siphoning effect is different in the northern hemisphere compared to the southern hemisphere. How does that affect in flat earth? I don't know, but I think it has to do with the flat earth model in relationship to where those areas are in relationship to the magnetic north. That's what I'm thinking, but I didn't do my research on that for today to give a definitive answer. So I don't have an answer for that. Hey, I don't know anything. I just do some of my research, and this is what people are saying. All right. So we talked about that. I talked about, here's another example. So this was, whoops, I'm sorry. So that was one example with, that's America, that's South America. Let's go down, and we did the Ring of Fire, which this one is a different perspective because you have North America over here with the Ring of Fire. You have South America. And remember I was saying it doesn't matter where the equator is. These red lines do not represent the equator. I just want to, these red lines simply represent where the midpoint is on the sphere. That's all we're talking, because remember, no matter what area you're looking at, if it's a perfectly sphere, there'll always be an intersecting line. So now here's a question according to this. If we use the same numbers, according to this, South America across is roughly 3/4 of an inch. So that would make South America 2,375 miles. But the actual miles of South America from one end to another is 3,300 miles. So there's a difference on this model of 924 miles. And the US is 1,979 miles, which is showing a difference of 763 miles. So the question is, we now have two photographs directly from NASA that is showing different sizes of the landmass that it is depicting, if we're going by the exact scale model of what the mileage is. Now, does that make sense? Did I say that correctly? In other words, if we're looking at the same image, but we're looking at it from two different perspectives, the ball is always going to be the same size. It doesn't matter if I'm looking at it from the Franklin side, if I'm looking at it from the 100 side, if I'm looking at this. No matter what area I'm looking at, the ball is going to be the same size, which means the measurements will be the same. So how is it that taking a picture of one image of the ball from this angle versus one image of the ball from this angle completely change land masses of the sizes of the land? So that's one of the things. So is it that A, these are not real photographs, which NASA even says that these are CGI photographs, that these are not real photographs, but they're saying that these are pictures of the Earth. So who's lying? Is it that the landmass is different sizes? Is it the Earth is changing size? Is it that the math is wrong with how big the Earth actually is? Which then leads us to NASA, your CGI doesn't match. So now, how is it that our Earth keeps changing looks? I can understand cloud formations changing. I could absolutely understand cloud formation changing. How is it that the color of the Earth is changing? That's the question I have. How is it that the water is changing colors? That the land masses are
different temperatures?
But does it really change? Like when you look out at the ocean, does it really change colors that frequently?
It depends on if the water is warmer or colder. That you're definitely going to have different colors.
See, when I was living in New York, we lived Long Island. The water was always this ugly dark green color. Every time we went to the beach, ugly dark green color.
But it also depends on the bottom of the ocean itself, to the reflection. Like if you go down to the Caribbean, okay, the sand, of course, it's a lot lighter. It makes the color appear
blue,
a lot lighter, blue. And then up north, the ground, it's darker. So
okay, you're absolutely. I'm agreeing with you. You're absolutely right. But look at these pictures. Why is the water in each of these pictures the same color throughout the entire United States? I mean, throughout the entire world. Like, why is the water that deep blue color instead of it being different colors depending on where you're located?
Because it's all fake.
Well, we know that. That's what I'm trying to prove. I'm showing. Here, even Zach is saying. Every pic we get from mainstream is fake. That's the point we're trying to make, is that they're lying to us that all these pictures are nothing more than CGI. Spirit says an interesting thing. I have to look at the math, but at east to west, U.S. distance seems larger than your area numbers. The numbers I was looking at was from the point of Washington to Maine, going straight across. So that's just something to look at. Obviously, if you go from those 2 points to, say, California to Florida, or if you're doing like Oregon to Virginia, it is going to be different ones. I was taking the furthest points, which would have been Washington and Maine, if that makes sense. We know optics of hues is different with warm and cool light. But even with the hues with this, I mean, ignore the clouds. We're not talking about cloud color covering. I'm actually talking about the hues with the color of the water. How is it that all this water is the same color throughout the globe? And just ignore the white, because the white are supposed to be the clouds. And how is it that each of these Earths are supposed to be the same Earth? In fact, here, let's go to the next, I think I have here. This is the 2007 model, courtesy of NASA, of what the Earth looks like. And this is the 2012. So here's a question. If that's North America and that is North America, something is wrong in size, because if we're looking at the
zoom, it's the zoom.
Okay, if it's the zoom, then these should not be, you should not be able to see the edges like this, because, okay, let's bring my ball back. I like using the ball. Okay. Where's my screen? Oh, let me, I'm sorry. I'm covering your eyes. Okay. So if I'm taking this ball and looking at it, you guys see the whole ball. So you see this part, you see this part, you see this part, you see this part. So you see the space all around here. What happens if I bring this ball like that? So now you're up close. How is it that you're not seeing the edge of the ball? Because your perspective is right on, like, how far do you have to be before you start seeing the whole ball? There you go. Right there. Now you see the whole ball. So if you're seeing it's the zoom in, then what should happen is, as we're zooming in closer, you should not be able to see the outside of the edges at all. Like from this perspective here, you may be seeing North America. There's North America right there, but you're not seeing the outside edges from your perspective. If I pull this out, oh, now you're seeing the space. So there's something wrong with that picture, because in both pictures, you're seeing everything on the outside. Why now this comes about? Because of the internet. That's what it is. NASA or Mormons? I haven't heard that, Zach. That's a good one.
No, he meant morons.
I was going to say, I haven't heard NASA be Mormons. Rich says, my life is going by fast enough. Is it Thursday already? No, we couldn't make it on Thursday, so we're doing it on Tuesday, Rich. But welcome to the show. You could join the craziness, because I warned everybody that this show is going to be crazy. I'm bringing a lot of crazy ideas.
I'd like to know why the big lie. All my life, In school, I was told it was round, but why the big lie?
Well, that's just it. Who's lying and what are they lying about? Who's lying? And why is there so much discrepancy in the pictures? That's the question. If they're telling us that this is an actual picture of the Earth, why is there so many discrepancies?
Okay,
All right,
let me ask you something.
Mhm.
If they're lying, what is the benefit of it? For what?
Control, money.
Control about what? What are we going to do?
All right. Once again, remember I said this brings in all the conspiracy theories? So the belief is that Earth is a prison planet. And there are outside control people, the elite, the Illuminati, the aliens,
Hello, Gettysburg, Rich.
the lizard people. There is a belief that they're in charge. And we are actually slaves that are doing nothing more than harvesting resources. So one form of harvesting is, we talked about energy harvesting, where they're sucking our energy. Another form of harvesting is the whole adrenochrome blood accessing, eating us. So food source. The other harvesting is we are workaholics and we're slaves.
If they're eating me, they have a buffet.
And remember, guys, the stuff that I'm saying does not necessarily mean I believe in this. I mean, believe me, I'm cracking up laughing at this stuff as well. But this flat Earth theory ties in all of the theories together. That's what makes this one the best theory of them all, because if you believe this, then you'll believe all the other ones.
Zach, you're right.
Everybody's like, there, this around there. Rich says, hi, Mom. Zach, the masses are asses. They think we're all stupid and try to take advantage of us. But that's just it. We are stupid. As a collective whole, we are stupid, and it's not even funny. So that's what's fattening me up. Yes, the food, we could talk about that. The food is toxic. It's all poison. And once again, it goes to the theory is what is on the other side of the ice wall. If you believe that Antarctica is an ice wall, if you go past Antarctica and you start finding the other civilizations, your Asgard civilization, all the planets, Jupiter, Mercury, Mars, Venus, all those planets are civilizations outside the ice wall because you're going out as opposed to going up. It makes a difference, a very interesting perspective if you look at it that way. I'm losing everybody.
No, you're
not. No, I'm just saying, this is what, like I said, this is one of those topics that your mind will be, because by the end of it, you won't know what's going on. And I mean, It's okay. Zach says right there, the Earth is effing round. That's fine. If all the craziness that I'm saying, you come to the conclusion that the Earth is, that's great. Then you know something, I'm just showing a different perspective of what they're saying. What they're saying is a person is smart, but people are dumb. Yeah. The masses are asses. That was Hamilton, right? Masses are asses. Yeah. The other civilizations are, okay, but Spirit Junkie, what if they are real? That's the question. What if they are real? There's this theory that nothing that we could think about is an original thought, because the theory is that everything we think about actually either already been thought about, already happened, or is another parallel dimension of what is actually going on.
I'm going to think that I'm special and all my thoughts are brand new and no one's ever had those thoughts that I had. I'm the smart one. Of course, your thoughts, other people have your same thought. Not your same thoughts, but I mean, they're the same thoughts, of course. Come on.
So now these are, I'm going to blow this up a little bit so you can see it a little better. These are the official NASA images of what the Earth is every single decade, going back from 1972 to 2015. And you notice how the Earth actually changes. Not only does the Earth change in color, it changes in size, it changes in perspective. And amazingly, most of the time, NASA's images are generally how we look at the Earth with North America, South America. Like, what happened to all the other different angles? Like, why are we always looking at it from this angle, North America, South America? Why don't we look at it from, say, this angle or that angle? If it's a round sphere, you could literally take a picture of any angle you want on this wall. Why are we only looking at it from this angle? And maybe we're ants in an anthill galaxy. I love that one. Yeah. We don't know what's up there. We're like the little people. Can we ship the planets to what? Wait, can we ship to the planets cheaper if the Earth is flat? Good question. Elon Musk is trying to get to Mars.
So listen to this. So you know how our shipping, right? Mm-hmm. Shipping is expensive.
Yes.
So if we ship to California, it's expensive. But if we ship to Florida and Florida ships to us, it's basically the same price, right?
Yes.
If the Earth was flat, okay, it should be shipping anywhere would be the same price, because it would be the same amount of gas going down, like we think going down and coming up. Right now, it's more expensive, because it should be more expensive going up, right? And it should be cheaper for us to ship going down south.
Why?
Because it takes less gas to go down than it is to go up.
You're talking gravity, though. It sounds like you're still on a flat plane. So whether you're driving here to here or going back and forth, it's not like you're using less gas and gravity's falling, and then to go back up here.
But I'm talking about shipping rates. Shipping rates.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand.
Flat rate shipping from Sue. Yes.
I think she's talking about if the world was round, it would cost more to go up than to go down.
Would it?
Well, yeah,
the plane fight more gas.
You're going to use more when you go up.
Yeah.
Zach, thank you. That's the point I'm trying to make. The pictures aren't real. In other words, NASA is not showing the real pictures. That's what I'm getting at. That none of these pictures are real.
We drive around the world at those angles.
I don't think we have a reason to drive around because of our position relative to the moon and where the space station is. True. Okay, so let's talk about something. Because this you bring in a nice little segue, Sue. The fact that our Earth is spinning. So how are we getting perfectly straight images of a spinning Earth that's spinning like 1,000 miles? And in addition to it spinning, we're also spinning around the sun, which is also following the sun because the sun is moving as well. So with all this spinning that's going on, how are we getting flat, straight images from a space station if the space station is not connected to the spinning of the Earth?
That's a good camera.
Is it a good camera?
It's a still picture.
And just in general, why isn't it really spinning? Or here's another good question. How come we don't see any stars or in any of these pictures? Like, where are the stars?
Because they're just giving you the picture of the Earth. They're not giving you the picture of the whole.
No, in some of these pictures, they're giving actual space around it. Like the famous picture of being on the moon where you're seeing the Earth and you're seeing the blackness on the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay, where are all the stars that should be in the background? Because if you're on the moon, you're going to see a lot more stars than what you see on the Earth because you're seeing more expansive space.
Those are fake pictures.
That's the point I'm trying to make. They're all fake. This leads into that we never went to the moon. I'll tell you that right now. The whole moon landing was fake. But that I believe. I definitely believe that the moon landing was fake. I'm still up in the air about the round versus flat, but I do believe the moon landing was fake. And we're going to talk about the newest moon landing. We're going to bring it up India because I love that theory. Absolutely love India.
I'm going to be right back. I'm just going to go get a sweater because I'm really cold.
It's cold up there? Aw. Okay, so here
it's
we
up
go.
North. Of course I'm cold.
You know what it is? It's like 90 degrees outside. I'm sweating right now. They find a way to overcharge us even if we can beam the package. That's true. Because the satellite, but Rich, is it moving the same rate and same speed as everything else? Because remember, we're talking thousands of miles per hour, and we don't have capabilities of going that fast.
Beam me up, Scotty.
They rely on the, yeah, exactly. Rely, and here I am. I'm pushing more ignorance. Isn't that funny? That's what I said. I love topics like this because, like I said, anything I say can be both proven and disproven. And that's what makes it crazy. So it's like, what do you believe? Mel wants to look like a bad 50s. It does. Well, India, the India moon landing. If you want, I could skip to that because that's towards the end. We could talk about that. Good point. Where's the sky in the moon's perspective? Exactly. I believe we went to the moon, but the video footage we watched was fake. Okay, let me skip. I'm going to skip a little. Let's talk about that. Okay, so a couple of discrepancies with the moon landing. All right, and you guys, I'm going to add, because I actually had this conversation with my mom the other day. Right now, with us talking to you, there is a roughly 10 to 15 second delay. In other words, if I were to put on my YouTube at the same time, me talking is not going to be the same thing that's coming out of my mouth at the exact time because there's about a 10 to 15 minute delay. And this is just going from my place to where you guys are, which is roughly a couple of thousand miles, if anything. I mean, we said that the United States is like 3,000 miles. But I don't.
Well, just explain like the news reporters.
Yes. Perfect example. Live news reporter. The anchor will ask a question, and there's that slight delay before the news reporter will answer it. So there's always some sort of delay feedback. So now, having said that, here's the question. We are on the moon. This is the late 60s. We do not have Wi-Fi. We do not have GPS. We do not have anything. How on earth is Nixon picking up a landline telephone, talking to the people on the moon that's hundreds of thousands of miles away, and it's an instant answer? That there is no delay.
Because they did that when they came back home. They made up that thing.
So that's question number one. Question number two, with the landing, how, if they're landing on the moon for the first time, how did they get the photographs and the picture of the actual rocket landing on the moon? Who put the camera on the moon first? Where did the camera come that actually showed the landing of the rocket on the moon? How did we get that photograph? So that's issue number two. Yes, Rich, I'm going to bring up India in a minute. I'm talking about U.S. first because it's interesting if you look at U.S. versus India. I will bring that up in 1 minute. I promise, because I have a slide on that. Rich knows exactly what I'm talking about. Number three, where are the stars? They're on the moon. Why can't you see the stars on the other end? Number four, how is it that the moon rover fit in the rocket that they landed on? Because they show the rocket landing, then they show the moon rover going around. How did that moon rover fit in the rocket? Because size-wise, it wouldn't fit in the rocket. And then the materials that they used going through the atmosphere, how did the materials not burn up when it came back into the atmosphere? So there are so many discrepancies with the moon landing, it's not even funny. So that's why I personally believe, and you know something, you might be right, Zach. Zach said that I believe that the footage we watched was fake. I absolutely believe that. Buzz Aldrin currently goes around the circuit saying we never landed on the moon. And this is Buzz Aldrin. He was second in command. He's saying to everybody, we never landed. He did a thing with Conan O'Brien. And when Conan said, what was it like watching the moon landing, and Buzz Aldrin's like, we didn't land on the moon. This is the guy that was second in command, did not land on the moon. That's what he says. So let's see what else. Perfect. I wonder about rocket fuel burning. Where are those? Okay, so here's another question. Rocket fuel. First of all, how much rocket fuel are they going to need to get that distance to the moon? I mean, we're talking about planes here going from one end to the, to the other will run out of gas. Where are they refueling and storing all this rocket fuel? And then the second question is if space has no atmosphere and has no oxygen, how is the fire burning in the rocket fuel? So when it takes off and it shows the fire, how are we seeing a flame if there is no oxygen to make a fire burn? That's another question. So those are just things to think about with the moon. That's why I personally believe that the moon landing never happened. There is actually multiple interviews. Rich, I will send you some links because Buzz Aldrin is going all around in multiple interviews saying that this never happened. And it's actually very, very interesting to watch him. Oh my God, you... Okay, so you don't need fuel once you're in space, just with little spurts. Okay, that is true because an object in motion will stay in motion and stuff like that. But once you land, you still need something to project yourself up, wouldn't you? So, and if you guys want, I could pull up, hold on. Being that people are asking about this, let me just pull it up real quick. Hopefully I won't get a violation. I'm going to get a violation anyway. It doesn't matter. Right, I will pull this up for you guys. Okay, let my computer catch up. My computer doesn't like me when I pull too many things at once. Sorry, guys. Now, what Rich was talking about was India. I'm going to pull up the interview while I'm showing the India thing as well. If I can catch up. Come on, guys. Ah, sorry. Okay. Let me scroll down. Scrolling down, scrolling down, scrolling down. Sorry, guys. I'm scrolling all the way down. Ignore my... Okay. Let's talk about India. Here we go. This is beautiful. Right there. India just landed on the moon on August 5th of this year. It was... I'm sorry, August 23rd. It went into lunar orbit on August 5th, and then on August 23rd, India landed for the very first time. Well, not the first time, but they landed on the south pole of the moon. Okay? Let's look at the first one on the left. So India is on the moon. Do you see this bright glowing green spaceship? That looks like something right out of Space Invaders. They took that right out of like a 1970s 8-pixel very cheap shot. That is their moon landing. So now that's question number one is how did they get an image of a spaceship landing on the moon if nobody has ever been to the South Pole region of the moon? And this is live. This was live feed. This is what they showed the world. They showed that India is landing on the moon in this bright green, glow-in-the-dark spaceship. Then, all of a sudden, after it lands, it now turns into, which I'm going on the right-hand side, it goes to this beautiful gold thing that actually looks smaller than the rocket of this one. Like you see how this one's taller and this one looks a little shorter. This looks like a completely different ship compared to this. But the live feed then turns to this. So my question is, where are the stars and why is it gold instead of glowing green? And then also, if you look at the moon, the terrain, how did the terrain change all of a sudden? Because this is like flat, and then this looks like it has like mountains and stuff like that. So then they take this beautiful picture of the gold thing from a distance where we get to see the Earth, which is beautiful. But here's the question. You notice how it's cut in half because this is nighttime and this is daytime? Then technically, shouldn't that line with night and day be roughly down where that ship is? But yet this is all glowing from the sun? I mean, am I wrong? Shouldn't there be a line right there? Like, shouldn't it be like cut in half like the Earth is?
Where's the shadow of the ship?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Where's the shadow of the ship? The shadow of the ship looks like it's downward, so then the light source should be up above, because it looks like the shadow is downward. Because from this image, the sun is coming this way. That's what's making nighttime on this side. The sun is coming from this angle, so the shadow should be that way. There is no shadow on the left side of this thing. So that's a good point. Where is the shadow? And then finally, we saw the landing. Where did all the stars go? And who is taking pictures of this landing? And once again, why are we seeing flames? Should we be seeing flames if there's no there's no oxygen? I don't know. Okay, so let's see. I watched the India landing live. It was awesome. Rich, it was that green glowing. They showed graphic animation of the landing. Give that a break. India got fish over the year 2000. Hello, Swamp Picker. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Glenn.
And they're allowing him to remain alive. As of right now, they are, because, you know, something that'll be a very high-profile death if Buzz Aldrin was killed off. That really would be.
Yeah.
Let me go back to, okay.
So now that he's older, they're saying he's senile?
That's what they're saying, yeah. Yeah, they're saying he's senile.
I 100% believe that the India landing on the moon was completely fake.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to pull up the, hold on one second. I'm going to pull, okay. Hold on, I just got to stop screen real quick. I'm going to do a share screen. I'm going to pull up the Buzz Aldrin interview, because this one's actually a good interview, and it's only 45 seconds long. And let me pull up my, okay. Just make sure it's nice and loud so everybody can hear. Come on. Okay, you guys can see it, right? All right, so, oh, come on. Hold on, guys. My computer doesn't like when I do too many things at once. All right, let my computer catch up, guys, because I think I just froze. I did freeze. It's not showing, is it?
It's showing, but it's frozen. You're also frozen too.
But you can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear. You're back.
Okay, I'm back. Okay.
About this, because this is fascinating. I remember very clearly. I think anybody who was alive at the time does. I remember my parents waking me up, and we went down and we watched you guys land on the moon.
No, you didn't.
What?
Because there wasn't any television. There wasn't anybody taking a picture. You watched animation. So you associated what you saw with.
I have very hazy memories.
Yeah, I know.
Well, no, but what we saw was we all were gathered around the old curved top radio and listened.
Talking about how many feet we were going to the left and right, and then I said contact light, engine stop.
It was
a
exciting.
few other things, and then Neil said, Houston, Tranquility Base, the Eagle has landed. Man, how about that?
That was very exciting.
Not a bad line.
Yeah.
Okay, so of course the interview goes on, but that's the point. And there's other interviews as well where he goes on and talks about how it was all fake. So that is the mainstream one. But when he goes to like conventions and stuff like that, he goes all off how it's all fake and stuff like that. Buzz Aldrin has rocks.
So what was the point? Why did they have to lie? Why?
Okay, look at what was happening at the time. It was all a space race. It was us versus the Russians. And the idea was whoever could get to the moon first would have the power and control over the world. And that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to manipulate the world, that the US is the power and we're going to beat out the Russians. And that's why we're going to go to the moon. Because the Russians were the first people to go into space. That's the whole Sputnik thing. So they beat us in the space race. So the idea was, okay, fine, they beat us in the space race. We're going to beat them by being the first people on the moon. But let's also talk about the moon landing of what happened. As of right now, which there's conflicting thing. NASA will say we cannot reconstruct the technology that we had back then to go back to the moon. Well, if that's the case, how is India going to the moon? How is China going to the moon? How are all these people going to the moon? But NASA is saying, as the United States, we do not have the technology to go back to the moon.
But we had
Why?
technology back then, and
Right.
we've progressed in technology. So
Correct.
I don't understand. What, did they lose the information?
Yes, that's what NASA is saying. NASA's official stance as of right now is that the United States has lost the technology to go back to the moon. That's why we don't go back to the moon.
That's ridiculous.
But right now, I just showed that India went to the moon, supposedly, in that beautiful CGI little pixel. That's if they went to the moon. That's why I don't believe anybody went to the moon, because if you talk about flat Earth, then there's no such thing of getting to the moon, because the moon is not out of space. The moon is underneath the firmament. So is the sun. Earth is flat with a dome firmament over it, where the sun and the moon are on the inside of the dome. And that's why, but that's an interesting thing. You Spirit, you can YouTube the Indian, because it just happened. It was September, what did I say? October 23rd. When did I say it just like that?
October 14th?
I'm sorry, August 23rd. August 23rd was when it was landed. Just YouTube the landing and you could see it actually land. So it's not like it's something, and it's funny. It's like I said, you're going to see that glowing CGI. It's funny. So look it up, because it's such, and they're like clapping and you see the thing and it looks like right out of like 1970s Space Invaders, like you're ready to go doing with the little remote control. But what they're saying, and okay, here's another thing. This one I love. Let me go back to that picture, because I love this question. Okay, so they landed on the moon. They're looking at the Earth. Once again, look at this image with the Earth. Oh, wait, am I sharing it or am I not? I'm not sharing it. I'm sorry. I'm like circling and there's nothing to show. Okay, so this image right here, they landed on the moon. You've got the image of the Earth. And like I said, the sun would be from the right-hand side. That's why you have night on the opposite side. We've already said that the shadows don't make sense and all this other stuff. But look at the image of the Earth again. What are we seeing? We are seeing, once again, North America. We're seeing South America. But here's where it's getting confusing. They said that they landed on the South Pole side of the moon. So if they are on the South Pole side, that would mean the Earth should be upside down. So we should be looking at South America on the top and North America on the bottom, if we're going exactly by that picture. So why is the Earth upside down in that picture?
It's all fake.
You know, I'm saying it's fake. That is what I'm saying. But I'm humoring that, saying, okay, let's take that all this is real. Let's take it that India actually landed on the moon. These are my questions. Where are the stars? Why is it CGI? Why is the Earth upside down? Why is the shadow wrong? These are all the questions that I have with this India. And this just happened in August.
Is
Yes,
this
that's
Atari or what?
Is that a what? Repeat that?
Atari?
No, it's not. It's not a spoof. That is the actual landing. That was what was announced across. That is not a parody. That picture that you're looking at, that's what I said. That glowing picture was the actual live footage of India landing on the moon, which, like I said, if it's live, where is the camera coming from? That means somebody already was there to begin with. So how are they showing live footage of the landing and it looks that bad? Oh, Spirit says, I would like to thank you for doing all this research. Agree or disagree? I love the discussion. Spirit, I want to thank you, because you know something? A lot of people don't understand exactly what that is. Just because I research something doesn't necessarily mean I believe in it. And you know something? Sometimes I do share my views. Like, okay, my view is the moon landing is fake. I have no idea about the flat Earth. I am up in the air about the flat Earth. I mean, I see both angles. I don't know, but it just makes you wonder what would happen if everything that we're saying in these shows is actually true. We don't know it to be. Right now, it's entertainment purposes only. We have no idea. But it's that what if. What else are they lying about? What else don't we know? And I mean, I love the fact that we can give, and that's why I'm saying I want everybody to throw their answers. And I hope I'm not doing it in a way to make anybody feel like ignorant or anything like that. This is a discussion. And like I said, you mentioned earlier about my math. My math could be totally wrong, but that's what they're teaching people as to when there's a problem. Where the camera of India landing from the space? I don't know. I have no idea where the camera is from with that landing, but all I know is, like you even said, it looks like a spoof, Sue. It
really does.
It's ridiculous. And that was the live footage put out to the world. And you see everybody clapping and everything.
How come they didn't show any pictures of the spaceship coming back to Earth, landing in the ocean or wherever it lands?
Okay. Let's bring in Disney into this. I love this.
Oh, boy, Disney.
Disney! Okay, hold on.
Glenn said they sent George Lucas ahead before him.
Yeah, because what you would call Stanley Kubrick passed away. They probably killed Stanley Kubrick, but it is theorized that Stanley Kubrick was behind the moon landing. Okay. Walt Disney. Let's talk about Disney because I love Disney. Now, for those of you who don't know the Disney conspiracy, Walt Disney himself was a Mason. He was up there in the ranks. We're talking top notch. In fact, even in Disney, there is a whole secret society within where they had like their meetings and stuff like that. The Disney logo shows the firmament. It also shows the castle going through the firmament, which is kind of interesting. Now, Disney had a lot of references in regards to flat Earth, in regards to the firmament, in regards to how do you want to do moon rocks? There's also the image that the Disney logo contains the number 666. So let me show you that because numerology plays a big deal. Look at this. Look at the red. 666. 666 devil numbers equal the Illuminati. You take the whole castle and you can compare it by the angles and everything. You've got the castle going through the firmament. It goes right into Orion's belt. It talks about the different points of every single castle coincides with the different gods. You have Isis, Sirius, you have the Eye of Horus, you have the Golden Gate, and it's all this weird mathematical thing. It also produces the Jewish star, the six-pointed star. Not the five-pointed, the six-point. We call it the Jewish star, but actually that six-pointed star is throughout history. It is not solely the Star of David in regards to Judaism. You will see that six-pointed star in all kinds of different cultures throughout the millennium. Sue is like, what? If you go into the whole theory behind numerology, as well as Kabbalah teachings with what different numbers represent, it gets really, really weird. It gets totally weird. And remember, Disney is all about media. What do you want to do? The media wants to project their message, and Disney happens to be one of the most evil projection of mass propaganda. If you look at the history of Disney, very, very interesting. Lots of theories behind Disney. If you could spend all day researching the conspiracy theories of Disney, and it is scary. I think Suzanne. I think Suzanne is in shock.
I'm not frozen. I'm in awe. Like, seriously, like, either someone had way too much time on their hands or this shit's scary.
Oh, we get so deep. That's why I said they're going to cancel me after the show.
So like what is it with that triangle with the eye? Is that
That's the whole idea of the Illuminati, that there is some force. There you go. Swamp Picker said it, going after the kids first. You have to indoctrinate the kids early to believe this stuff. And the whole idea is repetitiveness. Why do people believe that the world is round? Because it's all over in media, between globes, between icons. The Universal Studios logo. Everybody know the Universal Studios logo? It's the big black and white ball. How did they know that's what the Earth looked like if NASA didn't come into play until the 60s and Universal Studio invented that logo back in the 40s? There's like a 20-year difference. I don't have the exact date, but you know what I mean? It's like, but then again, there's also the whole globe.
But there were ships way back when that would go from one country, go all the way around to come back.
Okay. Which, here's an interesting thing. How come ships always went east to west and never north to south? We're on a globe. Why did they always circumnavigate going east to west? Why did they ever
north to south? Because it was too cold. There's ice.
Yeah, but that shouldn't make a difference. That should not make a difference.
If you don't have a ship to break through the ice, you're dead.
They have ships to break through the ice.
Not now, before.
They had ships back then. They were the ice ships. Oh, Spirit, you have, like I said, if you guys really want to go down a rabbit hole, just go down the rabbit hole of Disney. That's all I have to say. There are even the fact that you can't technically die on Disney because Disney has their own police department. So what they do is if anybody dies on Disney, they take them off grounds and they will declare them dead off grounds so that nobody officially dies in Disney. There are so many weird conspiracies with Disney. It's the happy place. It really is.
Ice without an icebreaker. It's extremes of the temperature.
Okay, well, here's another thing. I could pull it up, but I'm just going to explain it. If you look at maps from like the 1400s, there is a very interesting thing in regards to Antarctica. First of all, Antarctica is seen as the ice wall around, but it's not an ice wall. It is actually a landmass going around the world with all kinds of exotic animals on there. So there is a specific map from 1411, and like I said, if you want, I could pull it up, but it'll show Antarctica being a landmass, and there'll be like zebras. There's no penguins. It's zebras, it's elephants, it's all kinds of different exotic animals, which leads you to believe that perhaps Antarctica always wasn't cold. So that's issue number one. Issue number two, what about the pyramids on Antarctica? There are pyramids on Antarctica. Why would they make pyramids in such a cold environment? So there is a belief that perhaps Antarctica wasn't necessarily always frozen, that only now it's frozen. So it's like, I'm done. I'm going to go smoke. I need to smoke. Okay, I live in Michigan, and I see that it takes to break through the ice with all the lakes that's around. So you couldn't travel north or south in certain times of the year. It's not possible. I agree, but what if Antarctica wasn't always icy? That's what I said. Like I said, there is a map from 1411. It's a hand-drawn map that literally shows flat Earth, and the map shows that there were animals down in Antarctica. Why would they depict animals in Antarctica? If right now,
it could be.
Maybe because
hello, Pages is in the house. He came in late. Prepare your mind blown.
Okay, but maybe because they hadn't been there, they thought that it was the same.
But somebody's obviously been there because, like I said, there's pyramids down in Antarctica. Where did the pyramids come? I mean, okay, not to bring up a sore subject, but let's look at, hold on, let me pull something up because I want to do a timeline for you guys. This is a very fascinating timeline. I got to scroll up. We didn't even get through half the stuff that I want to talk about. Okay, this right here, timeline. I want you to look at these dates very, very carefully. I hope you guys can see this. In fact, let me blow this up a little bit. Set this image as back. No, detach it. Okay, I'm going to just blow this up. Okay. The dates we have. So the first one was Operation High Jump in 1946. This was a discovery that there is an ice wall. Now, let's just say you don't believe that the world is flat. However, they discovered an ice wall, which means they went down to Antarctica, they found an ice wall. Flat earthers are saying that the ice wall actually surrounds the entire Earth. That Antarctica is not just south, it surrounds the whole Earth. So 1946, they have discovery of the ice wall. 1955, Operation Deep Freeze. And these are actual operations. You can read up on each and every one. They discover the firmament. If you go to the Britannica Encyclopedia, very, very interesting thing. In 1954, Britannica Encyclopedia, you open up to the page of, not 1954, 56. You open up the page of Antarctica, and it will talk about how when you reach Antarctica, you are going to reach the border of a firmament. And it talks about the firmament. After that encyclopedia, they took that out completely, and they have never spoken about the firmament at all in any encyclopedia. So you could do your research, go to the Britannica Encyclopedia from that time, and it will talk about a firmament. NASA was now founded in 1958, and the firmament is the Van Allen. So they start talking about the Van Allen belts. Now, the Van Allen belts is that area of radiation, which that's another thing. As of today, 2023, they are saying that one of the problems of going into space is that we do not have the technology to get through the Van Allen radiation belt. If that's the case, then how are we going to the moon? So that's just something to think of. If NASA is saying we don't have the technology to go to through the Van Allen radiation belt, how is it that India is getting to the moon? That's just something to think about as well.
Is the belt beyond the moon?
No, it's before the moon. It's the surrounding radiation around the Earth. Spirit Junkie, give me a minute. I will show you it. It's the flat Earth picture. Then here's the thing. So 1958, we talk about the firmament. Okay. Then all of a sudden, immediately, the Antarctic Treaty is signed. Now, for those of you who don't know about the Antarctic Treaty, this is the one and only treaty that every single country can abide by and agree upon. And I find that amazing. And one of the things that they say is that nobody can get past the 60th parallel, which means no person on their own can make a voyage past the 60th parallel. If you try to do that, the Army, the Navy, from any one of the countries will come down and blow you up out of the water. It would be an act of war if you try to go past the parallel. Then we have Operation Fishbowl, 1962. Very, very interesting. And there's pictures of this. Basically, what they decided to do was they determined that there's a firmament over the Earth. There's a dome. So they started taking nukes and they started going straight up to try to blow up the firmament. They couldn't do it. The bombs kept blowing up. Many, many pictures about that. Very, very interesting. And then the Apollo 11 mission in 1969, complete hoax. That's the moon landing. They wanted to hide the firmament. That's why they did the moon landing, so that they can lie to people and say that there's no firmament. That's just a timeline. You could read each and every one of those. Do your research on each and every one. So many conspiracy theories surrounded that. So now the next thing is you wanted a picture of the ice wall. I do have it. Just give me one second. I got to find it. Actually, this would be it. This is it. The new standard map. This is your flat Earth map. And I will be referencing this map when we talk about flight patterns, which if we want, we could go straight into flight patterns. But you see this white around the edge? That is what they're saying Antarctica is. And remember, we're talking flat. So remember, we're looking at it like this, but it's actually like this, if you just want to think about it for a second. But just say we're looking at this. So what that means is this center dot right here in the center is the North Pole, which means anywhere you are on the map, north will always be facing towards that pole. So if you're down here in South America, north is obviously going to be up there. If you're here in Australia, north is going to be down there. So no matter where you are on the Earth, north will always be facing the center. So that explains why the compass will move.
So
Whereas
south would be, go ahead.
south is going to be surrounding the entire planet. So instead of Antarctica just being a tiny little landmass on the south, Antarctica is now the whole sphere surrounding, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
I know what you're saying. Yeah. Putting it up on the picture, I mean, I know what you're saying, because your north is right there in the middle, and everything beyond that, you're talking, it's the south.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
Rich, how do flat earthers what? Oh, flat earners? How do flat earners? So that's what they're saying is the ice wall. So if you were to take a globe, and they're saying that this little landmass right here, this is Antarctica. If you then flatten this out, Antarctica is then going to spread throughout the whole ball. Earth, okay, how do flat earthers explain a 24-hour day? I am glad you asked that. Basically, what they're saying is, okay, let's look at this map. They are saying that the sun and moon are both underneath the firmament, and what happens is the sun will be on one side, the moon will be on the other side. So, you know something, let me just for, if I could just draw things. So let's just say, here.
So why doesn't
the
sun melt the ice?
Good question. Why doesn't it? We don't know. So now on the flat Earth model, they are not saying that the equator is this line right here. They are actually saying that the equator is a circular line like this. Okay. I'm probably in the wrong section, but just humor me, okay? Because I'm not looking at it exactly. They're saying that the equator is that, okay? And what happens is the sun will be like, let's say it's right here, and the moon will be right here. So the sun is only going to be lighting up this section, whereas this side is going to be darkness. And as the sun goes around, so on the further axis, it's going to be winter. When it gets closer and the sun is over here, it's going to be summer. Because here, it's getting closer to the landmass, whereas when the sun moves out here, and that's what each of these lines are, where they talk about Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, the equator. That's what they're talking about with each of these lines. Okay? I'm just drawing just for the visual thing. I would actually have to look at each and every line. But that's the idea of where the 24 hours. Now, let's bring in another theory. How can an eclipse happen? The eclipse happens when the sun and moon rotate and it gets in front of each other, because then there's another strange belief that there is another thing blocking it, that it's not the moon, but that's another strange theory. So that while the sun and moon are going around, that at points they will crisscross, and then there'll be another sphere blocking the sun. So there is an answer on that. Not that they're fake, but an interesting thing is the recent eclipse, which I showed earlier, had a lot of discrepancies with it, particularly the fact that a lot of areas didn't see the darkness that they should have. Antarctica. Oh, Antarctica is, yes, Antarctica is the perimeter. That's exactly what it is. Antarctica is the perimeter. I'm sorry, I'm like talking so much. All right, I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about? I'm sorry. I'll just go to the next thing. I mean, the next thing to talk about is flight patterns, if we want to talk about that. Does anybody have any questions about this map being the flat Earth? Or why Antarctica is surrounding us? Because, okay, here's something else to talk about, and this is important. Water. What is one thing about water? Water will always find its level no matter what. So if I were to take this bottle of water, open it up, and pour it out, the water is going to fall down, and it's going to level out on whatever it's in. So me holding it like this, you see the water level here. If I hold it like this, it's finding its level. You see that? So water needs a container. Because if you don't have a container, what will happen is water will just keep leveling out until it finds a place to level out to.
Mhm.
That's what they're saying Antarctica is. Antarctica is the container that holds all the water in. That is why the water doesn't fall off and go into space or go wherever it is or fall off the earth. So when people are asking, well, why is the water contained, is because that's what the container is. The ice wall is the container. If that makes sense.
All right, I have a question. If
Please,
it's
yeah.
okay, if it's all around, isn't there other land masses that are countries that are close to this,
Close to what?
close to the edge?
The closest country based on our standard map would be the south point of South America or the south point of Australia. Those
So
are
I'm
the
saying-
two.
So
Those are
I'm
the two
saying,
closest. Yeah.
if a plane went over there, what are they going to say? You can't go there because that's Antarctica?
Yeah, Antarctica is a no-flight zone. They cannot go. FAA regulations. They
Yeah, but-
cannot go.
Yeah, but they're not letting us know it's around the whole Earth.
Correct, they're not. They're
They're
keeping
just
that.
saying it's one area. So what if somebody flew a plane to the other edge?
They're going to blow them up because once you get past that 60th parallel, you are going to get blown up because based on the Antarctic Treaty, if you pass that 60th parallel, which I know it's going to be hard to see, the 60th parallel is nowhere near the Antarctic. It is actually a lot closer. It's more towards the tip of South America, tip of Africa. So if you pass that 60th parallel and continue to go down south to Antarctica, they will blow you up either by air, by sea. If you're going in a submarine, you will get blown up. You will get killed.
What about the ships that go to Antarctica that are
Good point. For $20,000, you can actually take a cruise to Antarctica. The cruise, I believe, leaves. It leaves and only goes to one point. That's all you're going to see. You're going to go to one specific point in Antarctica, and that's all you're going to see. You cannot actually go to Antarctica and travel the land. You'll go to one little point.
But what I'm saying is, you know how they have the whaling ships?
Right.
They're all over there in the ocean down there.
No, they're not. They cannot. Regular standard commercial whaling ships will not be going down there. They cannot pass the 60th parallel. The only people that can go are either military, they have prior permission, or like I said, those cruises, because they have prior permission to go down to that one area. And it's just one little corner, little island that they're going. The Bermuda Triangle, that totally different area, but Bermuda Triangle would be a great topic too. But see, even Spirit says, interesting explanation of the ice wall. That is why and if you think about this, anybody a Game of Thrones fan? Think about that. The whole ice wall, winter is coming. There is this theory that they have, okay, remember I spoke about like the elites, that they have to tell you what their plans are. They have to tell you what they're going to do, because if they tell it to you and they show it to you and you agree with it, that means that they are allowed to do it and will continue to do it. And this gets in line with the whole religious. I didn't even talk about religion yet, but Flat Earth is all about religion. We could go deep into the religious aspects. I'm actually avoiding the religious aspect. But part of the religious aspect of it is that if they tell you what their plan is and what they are doing, that gives them permission to do what they're doing, and it absolves them from evil and absolves them from any damage. So that's why you are going to see stories like Game of Thrones with the ice wall. You're going to see this. And in fact, I wrote a list of various movies that discusses the flat earth. Hold on, let me scroll down because I
Do
did
you
it towards
think
the end.
that the Masons know a lot more than what we know?
The Masons? Oh yeah, they're part of the whole conspiracy theory. Absolutely. Yes. They're in on it. I mean, if you really want to get into it, I mean, these are just the front runners, but do the whole research of the Rothschild family. Rothschild family, that alone will blow your mind. But in mainstream theories, Teen Titan, there is a literal cartoon, which although they make mockery of it, but I actually love their explanation, is that they talk about Earth being a pancake and the ice wall being butter. And they have this entire cartoon about how the Earth is flat because it's a pancake and the ice wall is butter, and they're going to go to the edge and they're not going to fall off because the butter is holding in the pancake syrup. And when you pour in the pancakes, it's really, really interesting cartoon. You can you can see it on YouTube, but check it out. It's Teen Titans Flat Earth Pancake Description. Jim Carrey in The Truman Show. He tries to go to the edge. What happens? He hits a movie screen. There's the point where the satellite, which was actually, we thought it was a satellite, it was actually a movie bulb, comes down. Truman Show is a great example of the whole flat Earth. The Simpsons movie, we talked about The Simpsons in the past. I would love to do an episode on them, but almost everything The Simpsons, Rich says he's hungry. I'm talking about pancakes. And then the whole Marvel universe, almost every Marvel movie talks about flat Earth or firmament in some way. It's just hidden in the Marvel. So, for example, Thor Ragnarok, Asgard is a plane. In Black Panther, Wakanda is under a dome. And when you go into the different, because remember, based on flat Earth, when you go past the ice wall, that's when you start getting into Asgard. You start getting into Jupiter, Saturn. There's lands going outside the ice wall. I'm crazy. I'm sorry, guys.
Wait. There's lands going outside the ice wall?
Correct. Because remember I said space is not up. Space is out. So when you get to Antarctica, which is supposed to be the edge of our world, now go beyond Antarctica. There's more water, there's more lands, there's more places, there's more civilizations that are
we all connected?
Yes, we are all connected, correct.
So we're connected to Mars and we're connected to Venus.
Yes.
So
yes.
Basically we can walk there.
Remember,
I'm not saying we can, but if you look
remember,
at
you go past the 60th parallel, you're going to get blown up.
No,
why?
I understand that. But
why do they not allow us?
But say if it wasn't there, you're talking about landmass that you could actually walk to these different planets.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's talk about a very, very interesting fellow, Admiral Byrd. He's a guy we need. Admiral Byrd. I'm going to pull him up. Hold on. Let me find my notes on him. Okay, hold on. Okay, here we go.
Wait, just one question for you.
Yes.
Why is it when I remember going to see the big telescope and they showed us, Mars and Jupiter through the telescope?
Okay.
Yes.
You're talking. Thank you. All right. You're talking about the planetarium.
Right, the planetarium.
Okay. Are you talking about the planetary show where you're sitting there?
No, where we looked in the telescope.
Okay, Here's an interesting thing about the telescope. And that's something that's very, very interesting nowadays. And I want you to put your thinking cap on for a minute. Because nowadays, if you actually take an amateur telescope and look at the stars or look at the planets or something like that, it actually looks like it's some sort of blurry light source, as if the light source was in water. Because you'll see the stars twinkling. Okay, you're muted now. Do you remember that? Or when you looked through the telescope, did you actually see a perfect spherical image with did it almost look like it was some sort of colorful light that like twinkled and did like stuff like
that? Twinkled.
Okay. That's what they're saying is up there. There is the whole theory that water's above, water's below, which is in the Bible. In fact, I have a slide, if we want to get into the religious aspect, that there are 67 references in the Bible which talks about the firmament and the earth being flat. It also talks about how the earth is stationary and it's the sun that revolves around the earth. And this is the Bible. The Bible is talking about how the sun is the one that moves, not the earth. And there's 67 different references in the Bible that explains this. Flat earthers are heavily tied into religion. And like I said, I'm not even getting into the religious aspects of it because I didn't want to offend anybody or anything like that. But if you look at the basis behind religion and flat earth and science and put it all together, it will be amazing, particularly the reasons as to why they're lying to you, because all this is not that they're trying to, the whole idea is that they're trying to deny the existence of God or deny the existence of a creator.
So what am I seeing through the telescope when they tell me that's Mars, that's Jupiter?
You're seeing something. You're seeing something through the water.
Yeah.
We don't know what you're seeing. I mean, obviously there are stars. There's some sort of light mass up there. Here's another interesting theory. What if all those stars were actually exactly what we are? A landmass with a dome over it, and that twinkling through the water is you're seeing the light reflection of that world.
It
That's
could be
something
all the fish that are in the water.
What if there's fishies? We don't know. Rich says we're all spaced out. Okay, this guy, if you've never heard of him, do your research on him. Fascinating guy. Richard Evelyn Byrd Jr. He was born October 25th, 1888 to March 11th, 1957. Us offended you? Well, you know what, Lisa? I don't want to offend anybody. I really don't.
You need to go with it. If you're going to do it, then do it. It's like,
I know, but that goes into a whole nother category because it ties in the whole angel, archangel, demons, different civilizations. I mean, that alone, we could talk about the religious implications of flat earth. But I wanted to get more towards the scientific aspect. But this is somebody, write him down, very interesting guy. He was an American naval officer who was a pioneer American aviator, polar explorer, organizer of the polar logistics. He did flights, navigations. He did so many things. He received almost every single award. You could look at his military career, absolutely outstanding, which is very interesting. I mean, he is highly decorated. Now, the thing about Admiral Byrd is, and look at the time frame we're talking about, 1957. Remember when I was saying the discovery of the firmament, the discovery? He did multiple expeditions to Antarctica. And we're not talking about just like 1 month at a time. Look at his expeditions. His first Antarctic expedition was from 1928 to 1930. His second one, 1933 to 1934. And then Operation High Jump, 1946 to 1947. So this guy spent years on Antarctica. He researched everything. And if you also look at the dates, here's what makes it interesting. We're talking World War I, World War II. We really are. And there is this very, very strange theory that the reason for World War I and World War II was in order to destroy the history that we know. And in order to destroy history, in order to create a narrative of what we know now, they had to destroy a lot of stuff. Mainly, one thing just to throw out, Tartaria. World War II completely destroyed Tartarian technology. And I mean, only now we're starting to talk about Tartaria. But the question is, was there seriously an advanced civilization that used free energy that harnessed the Earth's magnetic field in order to power everything for absolutely free? It goes back to money and it goes back to power. So if they're destroying all the technology, I spoke about this in the past. I'm going to be careful what I say, but the nice, the evil German dude, if you look at his history, he was fascinated in the occult. He was fascinated, and you guys know what we're talking about, World War II, fascinated with the occult, fascinated with Antarctica. He would send teams down to Antarctica because his ideal was he wanted to collect as many artifacts as possible. So there's a whole history behind Nazi Germany in regards to Antarctica. So that's something to research as well. But Admiral Byrd had a diary. And the question is, what he said was when he was flying over Antarctica, he went past the ice wall. When he went past the ice wall, he started seeing green pastures. He started seeing these animals he's never seen before. He started seeing things. He even had a discussion with an advanced race of people. So the idea is, did he go past the ice wall and come up with different civilizations? I just want to say for the government lurkers, I believe the Earth is round, and I know I'm gonna get canceled. I'm so gonna get canceled. How come all the advanced technologies got wiped out so easily then? That's Rich. You know something, that is a good question, but it also talks about, power. Like, there's the whole idea that there are different races, and I mentioned this before. I mentioned the lizard people. I mentioned the Greys. Those are the aliens with the big gray eyes. We talked about the Asgards. We talked about the Nephilim. We talked about giants. So we talked about all these different races, and a lot of them, the theory goes that they are all war at each other for Earth, because we're supposed to be the center and we're the prison planet. So they're all fighting over us, and it's all about money and this and that. They're using us for our research because, in a sense, we are all slaves. And then if you really want to go even deeper, we talked about how social security numbers and birth certificates, each of us are registered as a different monetary dollar amount, that there is a whole dollar amount based on what our number is in our order. So it gets really, really freaky. And that's why I said this is one theory that ties everything all together. So depending on what direction you want to take, it starts, remember all the Pangea, that's what you're talking about, Rich. When all the continents were one big landmass back then, started with a P, Pangea is what you're talking about. The idea was all the continents were together and then they broke up, which if you look, here's the one thing I disagree with Pangea, and you guys can tell me yes or no. My idea is that all the continents are together, but it's the water that fills in the gaps. That's how I perceive. But they're trying to say that if you take South America and you take Africa and put them together, they look like a perfect puzzle. But here's the question: which they do, they fit like a perfect puzzle. Let me go back to the map, and I'll show you. They do. But that's the idea, that if the continent is is like floating. Here, wait a minute. I'm trying to get a better picture here. They're trying to say that. Okay.
I do believe
that. Well, yeah, that's what they're saying.
At one time.
Yes, if you take South America right here and Africa right here, this space right here will fit perfectly with this space right here. But see, that's where I'm confused, because in the water, if you remove this water, there's still going to be land connecting these two. Like if I took out all that ocean, there's still going to be land in between. So I don't believe that they were all together. I think this is just one landmass, and then the water filled in between. That's what I believe. And somebody could correct me if I'm wrong on that. But our continents are not floating on the water. Because when you go into the ocean, there's going to be ground, the deeper you go. So the land is still connected. It's just there's water over it.
It could be from Noah's Ark, the water, that it filled in.
Now, the question is with Noah's Ark. Oh, I'm sorry, Sue, go ahead.
I have a question. So, this flat Earth that you're talking about, right? So
Hi, Tina.
Hi, everybody. Okay. Well, I'll just stop sending shit so I don't have to carry it.
Oh, that's Melanie's.
Oh, that's my box?
That's your box.
I was going to say, that looks familiar.
So no matter where you are on land, you can get to the South Pole just by either going north, east, southwest, southeast. You're going to get there. And there's shorter distance to the South Pole. Well, you know what I mean, Antarctica.
Right. But yes,
So-
okay. That is the theory, yes. That no matter where you are, if you go south, you will hit Antarctica. But that also holds true on the globe map as well. It holds true both for the flat Earth and the globe map.
Right, but I'm talking about if it's flat, and then say, just say that this is the United States, right? Right here.
Okay. That's United States, okay.
So if I go out from Alaska,
right,
I'm going to hit Antarctica.
Correct, yes.
But why does it show that Russia is so close to...
Russia and Alaska are close. You can be on the, if you're standing on Alaska, there's only a 40-mile difference. You can literally see Russia from Alaska. If you are at the point of Alaska...
Do I have to cross over Russia to get to the Antarctica?
No. Not on this map. Here, let me blow this up a little bit.
Val, you
okay, this is
what I'm saying. Do you understand what I'm saying, Melanie?
Okay, I do understand. I'm going to show you real quick. Okay, so I'm just doing a line. Here, let me do a red line. Right here is Alaska. Okay, right here is Russia. There's only a 40-mile difference between these two because you could literally be in Alaska and Russia. Now, your question is, if you're at Alaska, how do you get to the South Pole? This way. That's the South Pole.
So basically, it's showing that all the landmass is basically connected.
Correct. Yes. Yes. Yeah. This is Antarctica. Antarctica is this entire white space all around, which means no matter what
landmass.
Okay, the landmass. Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. In other words, you see all this water? Because okay, if you're in the ocean, let's just say you're going swimming. Aren't you touching ground as you start walking out into the water? And what's going to happen is, and you're always going to, I mean, even with deep sea divers, at some point, no matter how deep you go, you're always touching land on the bottom. The only thing is there's just water covering that land. So what I'm saying is that all this is actually one big landmass, but it's just water that's filling in the gaps in between. That's what I'm saying. If that makes sense. That's my belief. Because then if you think about Pangea, which to me doesn't make sense, then that would be that South America and Africa are floating on the water and they used to be together, and then whatever happened, the plates or whatever separated them. So if that's the case, what's in between them? There is land in between them.
Of course there is. It's just the top layer. Okay, so I know this for a fact. Where I'm from, the Azores, okay, there's the 9 islands of the Azores. So my island is St. Michael, where I was born, okay? And then you have one that's called Seda, which is, they call it the third island, right?
Okay.
And it's volcano. But if you go in the ocean and you go down under, it is connected to one volcano that's separated into 2 land masses.
Okay, so they are connected. It's just there's water above it.
Absolutely. So I do believe that there's like land under the ocean. Of course. I mean, it's all connected. But now I'm like totally, I don't know where I was going with this.
Rich said, Sarah, yeah, exactly. Sarah Palin, who was the governor of Alaska, she saw Russia because literally it's 40 miles away. And you're forgetting about Earth and volcanoes. Volcanoes are supposedly what makes land masses because as they erupt, the magma is supposed to spread out and it creates land. And that's how you get islands and stuff like that, if that's what you believe. But there always is an ocean floor. I don't believe that there's no ocean floor. I think at some point, if you were a diver and you put on the deep sea diving and you just start off at the end of the beach and you start walking and you just keep walking, you're going to constantly touch some sort of ocean floor, no matter how deep you go. There may even be a volcano which goes down, but even if you follow, so I believe that all the land is actually one big landmass. It's just the water filled in, and that's what the oceans are. That's my belief.
Yeah. Why? People don't believe that one?
No.
Then what do they believe is down there?
Oh no, I believe that you're right. You're going to touch the ground.
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole idea between different plates. They talk about plate tectonics, that there's different plates that rub against each other, and that's what causes the earthquakes. So my question is, all right, so if there are different plates, which it could be the case, aren't they somehow connected as well? Because if the plates separate, what's down even further? Because, all right, let's talk about the whole idea of what they're saying the Earth is. They're saying that if you start drilling down, you're going to enter the magma, you're going to get into the core, and the core is supposed to be this hot molten thing or whatever it is. If that's the case and water is going down, wouldn't the water harden up the magma? Wouldn't it eventually turn into stone? So that's why my personal belief is that it always is a bottom, that it doesn't go infinity. You need to look into plate tectonics. That's a whole nother issue where there's different plates, and like I said, they rub against each other. But even the separate plates, I think those are still connected as well. That's my personal belief. But maybe that's what the theory actually is that each plate is completely separate. So water covers parts of the earth and land is all connected. So what? No, I'm just pointing that out, that it is one big landmass. That's all we're getting at. But remember, water needs a container. So the question is, what is the container? On the flat earth, the ice wall is the container. That's what's holding the water in. Because let's talk about another interesting thing. I'm not going to do this, but you could watch this done on YouTube. They take a spinning ball, and what they do with the spinning ball is they pour water on it. And what's going to happen is with the spinning ball, if you pour water on it, the water is going to go out. It's going to just fly off. It's going to go into so many different directions. So the question is, which we talked about gravity, how is the water staying on the earth if it's spinning? So you could talk about centripetal force, and this is perfect because I want to get into physics. How many people have ever rode the Gravitron before or know that amusement park ride? It's the thing that looks like a circle or it looks like a spaceship. And what it does is it just circles this way. Okay, it's called a Gravitron. And what ends up happening is it uses centripetal force. Now, if you look up centripetal force, they will always say centripetal force finds the center. And that's going to confuse people. That's why people be like, oh, that's why the water stays down, is because centripetal force, the force is finding the center. That's why the water is staying. But here's the flaw in that. Yes, the force is going inside, but the water is trying to go outside. So based on the idea of physics using centripetal force, there is no reason that the water, based on gravity, should be staying where it is. Our water in our ocean should be flying up in the air, because if our earth is spinning, it's going to try to go out. The centripetal force, the Gravitron, you are stuck to the wall. It's not that you are going towards the center. So while it's spinning, you are not going to be falling on the ground. You are stuck to the wall as it spins, and you could try to push yourself out, and you can, because the gravity is pushing you out. If you did not have the wall behind you to hold you, to push you out, you would just be flying off. So technically, water should be just flying off the earth. So the whole idea behind centripetal force, where gravity is holding it in while the earth is spinning, also does not make sense. No, Rich, flat earth, they do not believe it spins at all. They think everything else spins. The sun spins, the moon spins, the stars spin, with the exception of Polaris, which Polaris being the North Star, very, very interesting star. And this ties into the Georgia Guidestones, which we spoke about that. But Polaris is the North Star that stays in the same place 24/7 all year round. That does not. Why does it stay in we don't know. I mean, if we're.
Because I see it. During the day, sometimes I can see the North Star, and it's right outside no matter where you go, you're going to see it. But I've noticed that. I'm sitting on my couch looking out my bedroom window. There's the North Star. And it doesn't matter. It's always there.
It's correct. It's always there. How come we don't see it spinning with us? So what the globe theory is that the North Star is perfectly in line with the Earth's turn. So it's perfectly in line with the Earth's rotation, along with the Earth going around the sun, or around the the Milky Way, along with it following the sun. So it is perfect. That is what the globe Earth is saying. That one star happens to perfectly be in line with everything, which is sort of impossible. However, what the flat Earth is saying is it's stationary. The North Star is stationary, and all the other stars are moving around it. And this ties into the whole Georgia Guidestones. Now, if anybody remembers that show we did a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that there was a little hole in the Georgia Guidestones that no matter what, you can look through, and Polaris will always be showing 24/7 through that hole. And also the fact that the Georgia Guidestones, when the sun came through, it would show like a sundial on the ground. Okay, but now the Georgia Guidestones have been destroyed. They destroyed the Georgia, they blew them up. I said something weird to my mother. I've been saying this ever since we had the eclipse. I've been saying that I feel like time has been distorted. So I have a strange theory is, what if time slowed down or speed up? And the reason they destroyed the Georgia Guidestone is because if you look through Polaris, you will no longer see it in the right spot. That's a question I have. I know that's really reaching, but I've been saying to my mother that time is not existing correctly lately. I have been getting up at the weirdest times. I've been going to sleep at the weirdest times. I know we had where the daylight savings time by an hour. I feel like time is not existing correctly lately. And I'm wondering if anybody else, because you could check videos, people have been complaining like this like crazy. They are all saying, they're like, something is up with the time. It's getting darker way too fast. Hunger is not necessarily translating correctly. Thirst is not translating correctly. Women's cycles is not going in line with how it used to be. And that's something to look at. Do you guys feel like days are either longer or shorter, or something is happening with time? I'm just throwing that out there if anybody feels that. Because I definitely feel that way.
Days are longer.
You think days are longer? But here's the thing. Days should be shorter now. It's the winter time. In the winter time, there's less light. There's supposed to be less light and more darkness. I feel like days are much, much longer than they've been.
I'm not talking about light or dark. I'm just saying the day in general is longer.
Okay, here's another blow your mind theory. This is an actual blow your mind. Remember how we talked about how back then people looked a lot older than they do now? So like right now, okay, if nobody knows, I'm 43 years old. Do I actually look 43? Can I tell your age, or does my mom, if I'm 43, does my mom look like she's 65 retiring? I mean, maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. But the point I'm trying to make is people are aging slower than they did back in the 70s. Because remember, we were showing the football players, the hockey players, how old they looked back then. I was showing that complete slideshow with the doppelgangers that this is a 17-year-old and it looked like a 40-year-old guy. So what if there actually is a time dilation and time has slowed down, but we don't perceive it that time has slowed down? And that we're actually,
because we eat so many preservatives.
Possibly. But what if there's a very interesting movie? There's two movies. One of them is by the one that did Sixth Sense, M. Night Shyamalan. He did a movie. I'm sorry. He did the Sixth Sense with Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis?
Yes. His name's M. Night Shyamalan.
Good movie.
Okay. That's Sixth Sense. He did another movie called Old. And what it was it was the whole concept that this family went to a beach And what was happening is, for whatever reason, the beach had a different time dilation than everything else. So when you hit the beach, you instantly get old. And it was the whole experimentation that they were trying to do, experimental medicines, by having people with ailments, putting them on the beach and testing them out with the medicines to see if the medicines would work as they age. Okay, so you saw Gettysburg Ridge, saw both of them. There's also another one with the cave, where they went cave diving and they kept seeing the flashing of the light above. And it turns out that for every minute that they were in a cave was like 5 years above on the Earth's surface. And there's strange theories. Einstein had some theories about this relativity, where you are, if you're going the speed of light, that time may be like 3 minutes for you, but on Earth would be like 20 or 30 years. So the question is, what if we are in a time dilation and we don't even know it? It seems like it's perfectly fine for us, but to somebody on the outside, what if we are either progressively slow or super fast? We won't know, because for us, time is linear, time is even. But to an outside observer, we could be going at super speed, or we could be going so slow and we don't know it. Rich, I think everybody's in shock. We lost everybody. I'm just chatting away. I'm having fun. Because you know something? What ends up happening is people watch the show after the fact, or they're just in the background and they're just listening. Let's go on a couple of things. So no matter which you believe, we believe that God is real. That's what the flat earthers are saying. They are saying that the whole idea behind the conspiracy is they're covering up who the creator is. Now, creator might not necessarily be the biblical God, but there is a creator. Because there's also the theory that we are nothing more than computers. And that's a very interesting thing. What would happen if we're actually AI that doesn't realize that we're AI? Because our whole system is...
How are we computers? If we go into surgery and we're not electronic,
we are electronic. Our neurons, our whole body is an electric circuit. That is how we move. That is how we do. Our neurons is an electric circuit, which causes everything to be connected. So yes, we do have blood, we do have muscle, we have this and that. How is that different?
We have feelings, we have common sense.
Yes, and there's the whole biblical idea on that's what makes us special, is because God created us with will. Whereas there's this theory where I told you about the lizard people, that they actually harnessed our energy. Like I think last week we were talking about Taylor Swift, where I was saying that she is the satanic church leader of LaVey. Well, there's the whole idea that her concerts will energy harvest our energy, because the overseers do not have the concept of free will. And because they don't have free will, they harness our energy so that they could feed off of it. It gets, there's like really weird theories. Rich says, if I'm AI, I want a refund. Lisa's still here. Lisa, you're probably shaking your head like, what is wrong with this girl? Remember, it's not just me. It's
tell them about the plane flights.
All right, let's get to the plane flights. Unless, did anybody have any questions about what I was talking about? Because
I'm going to have a cigarette.
Go have a cigarette. Okay.
I'm right here.
We haven't even discussed. I'm going to show, here is a stack of plane flights. These are each of the different flights. You can go to any, I will say this. If you attempt to Google some of the stuff I am talking about, Google will always show you the debunking of the flat earth theory. Okay? So let me just say that. Google does not actually show what the flat earth theory is. They show the debunking of it. And that's actually quite interesting, because you would think if you're doing a search engine, you would want everybody to have open information on both sides. But Google does not show the flat earth side. Google will only show the debunking of flat earth. So that's something to keep in mind that's interesting. So yes, a lot of my sources, I have to really, really dig deep. So now I do have a document. It is on 16 examples of emergency plane landings. Here is the 18 examples. Here's the 18 examples. This is actually a 175-page book. I was not reading the whole 175. All I simply did was wrote the flight numbers down. So if anybody wants to take a note and look at each of those flights, you're more than welcome. If you want me to send you the book, I could send you the book. Very, very interesting thing. But what it talks about, and I'm just giving a couple examples, because what ended up happening is a lot of these flights make absolutely no sense as to why there was an emergency landing. So let's start off with this one right here. Let's say that we are going from Sydney, Australia to Rio de Janeiro, which Rio de Janeiro is in Brazil in South America. Now on a globe, here's a globe, Sydney, Australia is right here. Rio de Janeiro is right here. So if you have a flight from Sydney to Rio, why on earth would you stop at Los Angeles if the plane is in an emergency? That makes no sense whatsoever. So you're on a flight pattern from Sydney to Sydney, Australia, to Rio de Janeiro. You're going to go across ocean. Why on earth would you go all the way up here, make an emergency landing to go all the way down here? Okay, that's on a circular Earth. However, let's go back to that map I did, and it sort of makes sense on a flat Earth because you've got Sydney, Australia, we're flying, and then all of a sudden you're going right into Los Angeles, which you're then going straight to Rio de Janeiro. That makes sense as to why you would make an emergency landing in Los Angeles.
That's serious right there.
I'm sorry? Yeah.
I said, that's serious right there.
That makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right. So that's why we're looking at the flat Earth. So that's just one example. Remember, I could go on and on. I only gave a few examples. So I'm going to show you another example. Here's another one. Okay, so we've got Hong Kong. Hong Kong to Los Angeles. Honolulu is right in the middle. Okay, so you see that. So we're going from Hong Kong. We're traveling to Los Angeles. We're going to pass Honolulu to go to Los Angeles, Honolulu and Hawaii. So this makes sense on the round, okay? However, that was not the emergency landing. Instead, the emergency landing was Hong Kong to Alaska to get to Los Angeles, which, let's look at this. You've got Hong Kong right here. We're going straight down, and Honolulu is going to be over here. So we're in Hong Kong. We're going straight through. Here's Alaska, and we're going to go straight through to Los Angeles. The emergency stop on this flight landed in Alaska instead of landing in Hawaii.
Hold on. Okay, go back to the flat Earth one because that I'm having a problem there.
Okay, this is the flat Earth right here.
Yep.
Okay, so we're in Hong Kong.
Yep.
Okay. Right over here, roughly around here, would be Hawaii.
And that's where it wants to go.
No. Oh, okay, this one right here. We're trying to get to Hong Kong, and we're going to Los Angeles. Okay, so we're taking a flight from Hong Kong to Los Angeles. On the Earth, on the round Earth, we should be going through Hawaii to get to Los Angeles, correct? Because that's the shortest path.
Yes.
Okay, so if I have an emergency, I should stop right here. Why, if I'm going from here to here, am I stopping all the way up here at Alaska?
Okay.
Okay, that's the round Earth.
Right.
However, let me just go back a little, take this away. All right, so that's what it is. I want to get from here to here, but I'm stopping here instead of stopping here.
Makes no sense.
Now let's look at the flat Earth. Now on the flat Earth, Hawaii is actually going to be over here. That's Hawaii, okay? Mm-hmm. So on the flat Earth, we're going from Hong Kong. We want to get to Los Angeles. It wouldn't make sense to go to Hawaii to Los Angeles. The shortest route would actually be going right through Alaska, which makes sense as to why this particular flight made an emergency landing in Alaska as opposed to making an emergency landing in Honolulu. So that's another, and these are actual flights. If I showed the list of some of those flights. Here's another flight one. All right, so we're going, oops, I layered it. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. So we're going from Chicago to Doha. Why would you make an emergency landing in Moscow instead of Spain or Portugal? Spain or Portugal. So here we go. Let me get my drawing. So here's Chicago right here. Whoops. Chicago's right here. Here is Doha.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're making a straight run, you're going to pass through Portugal or Spain to get to Doha.
Yeah.
Okay. Why, if I'm going from here to here, would I go all the way up to Moscow up here in order to get down here in order to make an emergency landing? Why wouldn't I make an emergency landing in Portugal or Spain?
All right.
So let's look at, let's look at the flat earth model. So the flat earth model, which is right here. I just had a drawing. Okay, so we're going to Doha right here. Come on. There's Doha. Here's Chicago. There's Moscow. Spain and Portugal is all the way down here. So that's why instead of going through Spain and Portugal, they stopped at Moscow because it's a straighter line. They always want to do the straightest line. And I'm going to mute you. Yeah, okay, sorry. I'm muting you. If you need to, just tell me I can unmute you, okay?
Rich, that subject would definitely, I think, be a good one. I like that one. The Malaysia.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, that leads to, exactly. Because they were looking in the wrong place with the Malaysia flight.
Yeah.
So that's a very interesting thing. And Rich is getting jet lag. Yeah. If you're not talking, just mute it because we're getting feedback on your end.
Oh, me?
If you talk, if you talk, just unmute. And that's why so many flat earthers talk about the flight patterns, because flight patterns make absolutely no sense. Now, you know something? My mom has been on a plane. I'm pretty sure everybody has been on a plane. Couple of questions about a plane, and this I seriously would like to know, and this is with your own eyes. My first question is, when you look out on a plane, do you see a curve? Or do you just see a flat horizon?
You always see a flat horizon.
Okay, why don't we see a curve? We should be able to see a curve. If you're on a mountain and you have hills, you will actually see the curvature of the hills. Why is it that when we look out on the earth, we do not see the curvature of the earth, but we will see curvature on hills and mountains and stuff like that? Why don't we ever see the curvature of the earth? That's with your own eyes. I'm asking with own. If I'm standing on a hill, I will most definitely see the land going down like this. Why don't we see that with the earth? So that's question number one. Question number two. We're on a plane. We're floating. The earth is supposed to be spinning around us underneath. Why don't we see the earth spinning around? Why is you look down, you're going to see the houses. Why don't you see this? Because according to the earth is going 1,000 miles rotation, but the plane, I believe the plane could do like a maximum of what, like 500 miles an hour or something like that. If anybody could quote, I'm just doing whatever. How is it that the plane can catch up to the earth? If the earth is rotating east to west and a plane needs to go west to east, why are they not suspended as the earth is spinning faster around than the plane has the capability of going? That's a question. Now, there is a theory, and I know this is something, and I'm going to defend Globers for a second. There's the whole idea that if you're on a train, and this is physics, you're on a train, you have a ball in hand, you throw up the ball. You're always going to catch the ball even though you're on a moving train. Because what happens is while you're holding the ball is going, 60 miles an hour, just like you are. So when you throw it up, you're actually initially starting at 60 miles an hour that the ball is. So by throwing it up, you're going to catch it even though you're moving on the train. Now, my question is, you have a drone and you're on the train and you take that drone and you just let it float up in the air. without moving the drone. What's going to happen is the wall of the train is going to crash into the drone because the drone is suspended. It's not going 60 miles an hour like you are, like the ball is. You are suspending the drone in air. So the train is going to crash into it because the wall of the train. Why doesn't that happen with a plane? Why isn't the land underneath moving with the plane? Because they're saying that the Earth is stationary and flat. So that's something to think of. Okay, wait. Because we're higher up, if we are in a blimp standing still, we would see it spinning. Do we? That's the question I'm saying we don't see, Rich. That's what we're supposed to see. If you're in a blimp, you should be seeing the Earth underneath you spinning around you. The problem is we do not see an Earth spinning around us. That's the problem. If you're on a you're afraid to fly. Based on the globe model and what planes are, if you are floating, you should see the Earth beneath you spinning. That's not what happens. That's the problem.
You know, I've seen the drones standing still, you know, looking down at like a building or something.
Right.
It's not moving. The Earth's not moving.
Now, here's an interesting thing about. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, they've shown videos, you know, like murder or anything when they're showing, you know, where it happened. Now the drone is standing still, and it's not moving. The Earth's not moving.
But it should be, based on what it is, and it should be going 1,000 miles per revolution. It's not doing that. It's not moving at all. So that's issue number one. I was going to say something. I forgot what I was going to say. So yeah, it doesn't spin. And the other issue is, what was I talking about? There was something I was going to make a mention to, and I completely forgot what I was going to say.
Sorry.
No, it's not you. No, because like I said, this is such an interesting, fascinating topic, and I know I'm just like rambling on, but it's just so crazy. I have a
question. I'm going to ask this. You know how we get Google Map, right?
Yes, Google Earth. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Google Earth, and they only take like still pictures, right?
Correct.
But if they use, you know, when they go up, they say that they're going up to whatchamacallit, to the moon or to space and whatnot. How are we getting pictures of it moving?
Well, that's the whole thing. We were saying earlier that everything that NASA produced is nothing but CGI. That the images of the Earth moving and all that other stuff is completely fake. That's the opinion that I'm saying. Zach made mention of it too. Is that all those pictures that NASA are releasing is fake? NASA has one of the biggest monetary budgets, and the question is, where is the money really going to? So now, if you really want to go crazy, there's a couple of theories with NASA. One of them being, and this is absolutely crazy. Have you ever noticed the rocket? Oh, this is crazy. Have you ever noticed the rocket patterns of the spaceships? That you always see them go up, and then they curve.
They curve, yeah.
You never actually see them go up into the sky. Wouldn't you think you would want the rocket to just go straight up and eventually you'll see it and it should disappear? No, you always see a curve. In fact, guess what? I have a slide of that.
Glenn, you're leaving? Don't leave, Glenn.
Oh, you know something? These are long shows. Back to work. Well, we appreciate you being here, Swamp Picker.
Have a good
To
day.
the moon, Ellis.
Bye.
Hey, you know what it is? I enjoy this. Everybody listens to the background, and oh, there's a reason. Okay, Rich, what is the reason? I would love to hear the reason. Now, I know they're going to say because of the curvature of the Earth. That's what they're going to say. But that's
Or
the
is it
question.
because of the dome?
Well, yes, there's the whole belief that we're covered by the firmament, and that's why it makes that curvature, because we cannot actually go into space. We're just going up to the dome and coming back down. Now, I started with the Disney thing. I completely forgot to do this. The movie Finding Nemo. Everybody loves Finding Nemo, right? With the little fishy and stuff like that. Does everybody know that there is actually a NASA graveyard called Nemo? Nemo is the furthest island from any location on this world. And
What?
it's actually there's a island called Nemo. Okay. And what it is it's the NASA graveyard. Because what happens is, you see how they launch from either Cape Canaveral or they launch from Houston? What they're actually doing is they're going up into the air, and you're not going to see it, but they're heading to Nemo so that they could crash into the ocean, and you have no idea that that's where all the rockets are going. Rich is like, I don't know too. I'm sorry?
You have a picture of it?
Of Nemo? I can pull it up. I don't have a picture, but I was looking at that the other day. Hold on one second. Nemo. Let's see if I can find it. But that's an interesting little tie-in back to. Okay. All right. Hold on one second. Stop screen. Let me pull up the other screen. It's interesting, isn't it? This stuff is crazy. People are gonna think I'm crazy. This is me doing wait. Yeah, it seems like you're crazy. You're so crazy.
Well, you're not crazy. You're broadening people's minds. Like,
okay. So, spacecraft cemetery. The spacecraft cemetery, known formerly as the South Pacific Oceanic Uninhabited Area, is the region in the Pacific Ocean east of New Zealand where spacecraft have reached the end of their usefulness are routinely crashed. This area is called Point Nemo of the oceanic pole. So basically, it's in that whole middle center between Australia and South America, where they're going to crash all their stuff in the middle of the ocean. What the theory is they're not crashing that when the spaceship has no use. They are crashing it at the time of when they do the launch. That's why you're seeing the curve of the ship, because they're not actually going up into space. They're crashing it into the middle of the ocean, pretending that they went into space. And the whole idea of when they get to space, and this you'll see in every space launch. In every space launch that you watch live, you will see it going up, going up, going up. And then as soon as it starts curving, all of a sudden, you'll see a camera angle switch, and then the rest of it is all CGI. And you'll see CGI going straight up as it goes out of the atmosphere, when in actuality, it actually is curving and coming back down. So that's an interesting little, you'll always see the switch. In fact, there was a recent one that everybody's pointing out that it was actually a hologram, because the spaceship was going up, and then all of a sudden the spaceship, half of it disappeared and then came back and was going up. So now they're saying that instead of actually crashing the ships, they're actually using hologram technology so that it makes it look like there's a spaceship going up.
My son, TJ, my middle son, was in the NASA program at his school. It wasn't like the full NASA program. It was a very good NASA program that they had. And he got to speak to some astronauts that were supposedly on a ship.
Okay.
In space.
One of the funniest things, and flat earthers love this, is when they take live footage and they look for the mistakes in the live footage. For example, I'm just going to give a couple examples. I don't have the footage here, but you can look it up online because some of them is hilarious. One mistake is they are doing an external moonwalk where they're outside of the space capsule and they're in the full suit and they're working on it, and you see the Earth spinning behind it. What you're going to see is a mouse running across the beam on the outside.
What?
Yes. And this was live footage.
Are you serious?
Serious, yes. So while they were doing that, there was a mouse who, without any oxygen or anything like that, happened to be on the outside of the spaceship running across. That's example number one. There are lots of examples where you see people floating, but as they're floating, you're going to see, strings on the back of them as they're floating. Or you're going to see, there was this one thing where the guy had the ball. This was an interesting thing. He has a ball and he's playing with the ball, and by accident, the ball dropped and fell to the floor, and the other guy went to go grab it real quick. That should never have happened if you're in space. There's another example where everything is floating around. However, there is a glass of water on the side, and you see the water perfectly leveled. Water should not be leveled in zero gravity. It'll actually form little bubbles, and we'll be doing that. There's another video, which this one I love, where they take the woman's hair, because technically in zero gravity, a woman's hair should be like floating like this. No, her hair is like she took a gel and just gelled it straight up. Like there is no natural movement. You'll also see in live videos all the air bubbles. And the question is, where the hell are the air bubbles coming from? Why are there air bubbles in? Because the whole idea is what's causing the zero gravity is that they're actually doing it underwater, and they're recording underwater. So when they're moving, you'll see the zero gravity movement. You shouldn't be able to see air bubbles.
I just saw the mouse.
Okay. So yes, so anything that I'm saying, there is videos out there. So flat earthers love, and that's why if you ever notice, NASA really doesn't show a lot of live videos, because nowadays people could pick them apart and they only show small snippets because they have to literally like look through everything to make sure that something like that won't happen, like the whole mouse running across, you know what I mean? But sometimes they miss things too, and people will see it and be like, what the hell is that? Oh, thank you, Rich. Rich is leading. Who's putting words in my text when I type? How do I turn that off? Rich,
Bye,
have
man.
a good day. So yeah, I'm just, something, I'm entertaining the people in the background, and I'm entertaining.
Have a good one.
Yes, I appreciate it, Rich. And I'll send out your package. So thank you so much, Rich. So yeah, so like NASA is just fascinating with the amount of mistakes that they do. But the whole idea is where they do their videos is supposed to be underwater. And if you look at the footage of Mars, like with the Mars rover going through the land and stuff like that, it's very interesting how it's video of either Greenland or Iceland or areas like that. It matches perfectly with the topography of that area. Like if you take Mars's, and there happens to be a NASA space, not space station, but space unit up in those areas. If you look at the rocks, it's perfect. All they do is basically CGI it and make it look red instead of making it look the green and the brown that it is here on Earth. So it's one big lie. One big lie.
You can't believe anything anymore.
You
Really?
Can. So I want to know the people who are still out there. Is anything what I'm saying, like, am I just being completely dismissed as a nutcase? Or is anything I'm saying making you think like, wait a minute. Why is that? I don't know. That's what the beauty of the show is like I said, I am just introducing things that people are saying. Doesn't mean that I'm saying it. I'm just sharing information. Do I believe this? I don't know what to believe because some of this stuff is so far reaching, but yet some of the stuff I do have my own personal beliefs. And I try to do with what I see, what I feel, and like I said, lately for me, time has not been existing correctly at all. And I know that's like such a foreign concept for everybody, but I just feel like our time it's weird. But that has nothing to do with flat Earth. That's just nothing to do with flat Earth.
Wow.
So, I'm sorry, Sue. Did I get you?
Don't say you're sorry. I'm I still believe that the Earth is round. I still believe we're a globe, definitely. But there's a lot of questions.
Yes.
The thing that got me was the emergency landings.
And
It
I
makes
have
no-
more.
Makes no sense at all.
It may, yeah. See, that's huge. Like, why? Why?
All right, we did Chicago indoor. How about this one? Here's another one. San Francisco to Dubai, India, should technically, in an emergency landing, land in Spain or maybe even Morocco or somewhere over here in order to get here. Why is it going all the way up to Moscow, up here, to go down there? So here's where we're looking. San Francisco, Dubai, straight run, going right through Moscow. And that's actually going through the North Pole.
So instead of seeing so much ocean, when these people are on the flights,
They should be seeing a lot of land.
A lot of land.
Yes. They should be, yes. And that's the question. Do people actually pay attention to how much land is underneath when they're, because a lot of these flights will be, you're talking about, that's a 15-hour flight. Are you going to be staring out the window for 15 hours? Not necessarily. Are you going to acknowledge what, and here's the other thing. What if the plane is going above the clouds? Which that's what a lot of times happening. Planes are flying above the clouds, not below. So they're not going to see that there's water versus land underneath. So that's an interesting thing.
Do more? Is there any more?
I'm sorry, repeat that. Can I do what?
Is there?
I don't have any more of the flat Earth.
Oh.
Not of the flight plans, but like I said, that list I gave you, this is just 16 of them. And if you want, I do have the PDF. We'll go through each and every one of these flights to show each of the emergency landings. I just did a couple of them just to show.
I would like to
But
see
there's 16
Malaysia.
in total. And there's more than that. Malaysia. Hold on. Is Malaysia on here? No, there is no Malaysia flight. All right, so Malaysia. We're talking about like over here somewhere. Malaysia to where?
Where was it supposed to go to?
I think she's talking about the plane that disappeared.
The Malaysian flight. There actually is there's a documentary on that on Netflix.
Yeah.
Is it Netflix? Yeah. Watch that documentary.
I did.
Oh, you did? Yeah, because it showed you a map where they were going back and forth, trying to find the plane, and it was all the way on the other side. So I obviously don't have that list, but that's a very interesting documentary. And if you put it into perspective, flat Earth versus round Earth, it'll almost make sense why they found it on the other side. But then again, what happened to it? I mean, there's that whole idea.
Can you bring up the map of a flat Earth, right? And show me where Malaysia is and where it was supposed to go, like where it was supposed to land.
Okay, wait. Malaysia.
I'm not sure where it was supposed to land.
Okay, let me see the Malaysian disappearing flight. All right, flight 370. That's the name of the flight. Let's see where it was supposed to go.
Lisa, I think that's so true.
I missed it. What was it?
Well, Lisa said, be careful, folks. Those who question too much are labeled as crazy and medicated.
Because they don't want the truth to come out.
I think after these shows, I'm already labeled crazy. I think that's what the problem.
You're inquisitive.
Inquisitive. Okay, so here is, can we see this or am I in the wrong screen? I'm in the wrong screen. Hold on. I have to reset it each time I switch screens. Sorry.
No, you open minds. You get people thinking.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's share this one. Okay, so hopefully I got this. So the Malaysian flight was supposed to, okay, so here's Malaysia right here next to Indonesia. The flight was supposed to go here. The last civilian radar contact was right here. Last military, and somewhere along the lines, it should have disappeared over here. Maybe it was heading to the island of Nicobar in India or something like that. Let's see. Oh, wait, that's the Pacific War. Sorry, wrong one. Let me go back. However, it was found down here. It should have went this way. So why was it all down here? Now let's compare that to the flat Earth. So let's see what that means on the flat Earth. So let me go back to, if I have the flat Earth. Because I don't have an actual like flight plan based on the flat Earth, but I'm going to pull up that flat Earth model. All right, so see, it's not big enough. Let me see if I can find it on this guy. Hold on one second. I'm going to try to blow this up a little bit.
Valerie, me and you were like, we're so intently looking at it.
All right. I'm trying to blow this up the best I could, so just bear with me. So let me just take a look at this. So what it's saying is Vietnam, Malaysia, it should have went above Indonesia. Instead, it was next to Australia. Okay, let me just look that, and I got to switch screens. So stop the screen. I hate the fact that I can't go from one screen to another, so I apologize, guys. All right. And I tried to blow it up as best I can. So what that means is we're talking about this area right here. Okay. All right. So here's your Indonesia right here. In Malaysia.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think.
Where was Malaysia that flight supposed to land?
It should have landed like up here somewhere. But instead they found it down here because it lost contact. So it went the opposite way. So it went towards Antarctica, which is kind of funny. If we're going by the flat Earth model. So it was heading this way when it was supposed to be heading this way. That's part of the problem. And that's why they couldn't find it, because they were looking in this area right here. That's why they didn't find it, because it should have been either here or here, but it was actually down here they found it. But I don't know any information about the flat Earth from the Malaysia flight. I mean, I've never did any research to see whether flat Earth has anything to do with the Malaysian flight.
What if it was getting too close to Antarctica?
Then yes, they would have shot it down. They absolutely would have shot it down. And it is close. If you look at the 30th parallel on that map, the 60th parallel, I mean.
Well, tell me, did they find parts of it or?
Yeah, they did. They did find parts of it.
All right, so maybe it was shot down.
They say, because in the documentary, they said that parts that they found was not necessarily the plane parts.
Right. Here's the 60th parallel, this line right here. So you see how this line, if you follow it all the way around, this line right here, there's still blue in between before you get to Antarctica, but at no point does any land cross this line. So in other words, if you're traveling, if you go past this line, they shoot you. There's still water in between before you get to Antarctica. So you're not allowed to pass this line. So the closest point.
They could have shot it down.
Yes, possibly, if it went the wrong way. Yeah. They could have totally shot it down. Okay, I'm just trying to close this. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Sorry, guys. So that is an answer. Or there's the whole idea of maybe it got into a portal or something like that, similar to the Bermuda Triangle, only it's a different area. We don't know. But that's a very good question, Susana, is the Malaysian flight part of disappeared? Like, what happened to the Malaysian flight? Because it just disappeared. We don't know.
Well, you said they found parts of it?
They did find parts of it, but they weren't too sure whether it was actually the plane or not.
Right. Did you ever watch that show Lost with the plane?
Yes. Or Manifest is a good one too. Yeah. Manifest is probably better than Lost. Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved both of those, but I hated the ending of Lost. I liked the ending of Manifest. I did not like the ending of Lost, but I won't give it away if anybody wants to watch Manifest. But basically,
don't tell me I want to see the ending. I didn't see it.
I know you want to watch it. She has to watch the ending. I didn't realize she never watched it. But basically, Manifest was a plane that disappears for 5 years. It takes off, vanishes, and then returns back 5 years later. Very interesting show. But I won't tell you the ending because she has to watch the ending. All right, so we talked about the Georgia Guidestones. What else do I have? Oops, let me just make this a little smaller. Okay. Here's an interesting thing. If you don't understand, why would we see 100% different stars here than we do here? Then I'm not sure how we can help you. So in other words, if the sun is in the center and we're spinning, and not only that, we're spinning, how is it we see the same stars in the same place? If the Earth goes here, we shouldn't be seeing these same exact stars. So somebody's lying to us. Either the stars are moving with the Earth, which makes absolutely no sense, or the Earth is not spinning or moving at all. And that's why we see the stars exactly where we are. So that's another theory. Here's an interesting one. Why are you able to see distant skyscrapers from one end to another? And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, somebody could correct me. This might be either Michigan or Seattle, where you're on the Canadian side or the U.S. side, and you're looking across the water. So I'm not too sure which land. This might be Seattle, but where you're looking across the whole landmass, I think it's Michigan, and you're looking at how is it that you're able to see the skyscrapers? There should be a curvature because the amount of distance from where you are to the skyscrapers, the Earth should be curving, so you should not be able to see those skyscrapers at all. They should be underneath the curvature. So why are we able to see those skyscrapers from across the water? What they do say is they say that that's a mirage. They're not actually looking at the skyscrapers, but I find that a little hard to believe. Because for me, when I look at mirages is usually water. You don't necessarily see buildings. The mirage, you're looking out on
it's
sand.
very wavy. Yeah.
It's wavy. That is perfectly square buildings. So that's the flat Earth versus regular, is why do we see these buildings? And to give, here we go. There's an 8-inch drop for every mile because of the Earth's curvature. How do planes account for this curvature? So for every mile, okay, let's just say a plane is going 500 miles an hour. Okay, so 500 times 8, 5 times 8, 4, you're talking 4,000. So it needs to account for 4,000 inches of curvature. Do planes actually do that? Do pilots figure out 4,000? I mean, I'm just saying, if you're going 500 miles an hour, are you going to account for 4,000 inches of curvature? Did I say that right? Yeah. They don't take into consideration curvature because the Earth is flat. The planes are, and this goes in with other concepts. Here's another concept. Long-range archers or snipers. So the longest range confirmed sniper kill with the gun was 3,450 meter shot. It took 10 seconds to reach its target. The Earth rotates once every 23 hours, 56 minutes, 4.09 seconds, and it's called a sidereal period. Their circumference is roughly 40,000 kilometers. Thus, the surface of the Earth at the equator moves at the speed of 460 meters per second, or roughly 1,000 miles per hour. And that becomes different at different latitudes. So one needs to calculate how fast the Earth is moving at the shooter's location. Then use the rangefinder to determine the distance to your target to calculate how long your bullet will be in flight. For 90 degrees to the Earth's rotation, you would then have to multiply the speed of the Earth's rotation times the number of seconds required for the bullet to travel. And for a direct shot onto the Earth's rotation, you must correct your range for where the target will actually be when the bullet arrives. And there are those shots that are neither straight nor 90-degree angle at the Earth's rotation, which gets more complicated. Now, I know I said a lot. What I'm really saying is, think about this. When you're holding a gun, you're looking straight through at a target. How are you accounting for the Earth's rotation or curvature when you're shooting a bullet? And the other question is, according to this, it also depends on your latitude and longitude lines. So what they're saying is, if a sniper is doing a shot where the equator is versus, say, a sniper shooting something in Alaska, they would then have to figure out the different curvature on a globe. That's not the case at all when you're shooting a gun. So that's something to think of that doesn't make sense if you're using physics. So if you're shooting a gun from up here versus shooting a gun here, you need to calculate the different. Lisa says her husband was a sniper in the Army, which, you know something? This is a great question, Lisa, to ask him, because I know he'll be like, it doesn't matter where the hell you shoot a gun. Whether you shoot it at the equator or shoot it up there, you're going to shoot the gun the exact same way. You're not in your head calculating the different curvature points or latitude and longitude lines. So that right there is a question about if the Earth is stationary and flat. Snipers or archers. Now, I know archers are interesting because they do actually, in some cases, it does shoot upward. But when you do the longbow ones, a lot of times they're doing straight. They're not necessarily going up, depending on which kind of bow they're using. So
do
that's
you think pilots and stewardesses know?
They absolutely know. A lot of times you'll ask them, they will say that the Earth is flat and stationary. However, they have to sign a non-disclosure act when they go into pilot school and when they go into, and that's why pilots is one of the hardest professions to get into. That's why you need licenses. That's why you need training and stuff like that, because this is exactly what you can't tell the world. You can't tell the world that the Earth is flat and stationary. And that's why there's not that many pilots. There are, but you know what I mean? They have to sign a non-disclosure act. And there's rules. He's up at deer camp. I won't remember to ask you when he gets back. Well, I'll remind you, Lisa. I'll be like, Lisa, ask your husband about sniping. Okay. Okay, we talked about, I did make mention to this one. I pointed out this thing. This rocket was Elon, and I know we talked about this a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about Elon Musk, where he actually hit the firmament and it caused this watery effect. So that's just an interesting thing because you'll never see that happen with NASA flights. But Elon Musk actually, it looks like a sperm. Well, yeah, it's going through water. That's what happened when he tried to get out. And like I said, you could either love Elon Musk or hate Elon Musk, but he is exposing a lot of things.
What happened? It exploded or what?
No, it didn't explode. What happened was it was going just like this trajectory, just like this. And then all of a sudden, it hit something up here. And then all of a sudden, it starts looking like a water trail. And that's exactly what a speedboat looks like when a speedboat is going through water. And that's the whole idea, is that the firmament is actually water.
And then what happened when they went through the water? What happened to the rocket?
Oh, it came back down.
Okay.
Yeah. Came back down. Read into Admiral Byrd, very interesting story. Now, I said I wasn't going to talk about religion, but every single religion talks about how the Earth is flat. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm trying to get this so we can see it. There we go. All right. So depending upon which society, Egyptian talks about the dome. Greek has the dome. Hecate had it. The Dionysus believed in that. The Aldrinians believed in that. So every single ancient religion, this is the Mayans, they all believed that the earth was flat with a dome over it. Now all of a sudden NASA's saying, nope, this isn't true. I mentioned this. There's 67 Bible verses about the sun moving, but the earth staying stationary. And there's zero movement on the earth. And this is what we were talking about with the sun and the moon, how it goes around with the flat earth. And then the ice wall going all around. And that's what makes the day versus the night. Here's another little concept when people are saying, okay, but we don't understand. So you've got the moon and the sun are inside the dome. You've got the North Pole is in the center. The equator is the round point in the middle. And then it just talks about limited sight distance. So what they're saying is if you're standing on Antarctica, you would be able to touch the firmament. They're saying that the Antarctic ice wall is 150 feet above sea level. And that's why the water doesn't spill out. And then this is the land on Earth. So very little interesting on that's what they believe the Earth is when they say flat Earth. That it's a flat Earth with a dome over it with the ice wall holding the water in. And then if you decide to go past the ice wall, that's when you're going to get into all the other land masses. This just talks. I'm sorry?
Flag has a question.
Hello, Flag. Sorry, I was looking at the other one. What if Earth is flat? Earth is brought forth from the depths of the waters. Earth is with mountains, valleys, and it dips and rises. Yes, it is stationary in case even the floor of, I think we're waiting for the rest. But yeah, that's exactly what we're discussing, Flag. We are discussing heaven above is us is flat. There's the whole idea that the heaven above is water and water below. So it could be flat. I mean, there's this theory that we're sitting on the back of a giant turtle. There's a turtle theory. And that's why the turtle's back depicts a perfect calendar. So if you ever look at a turtle's back with the number of circles in its back coincides perfectly with the calendar, which I'm going to blow your mind a minute, Susana. You ready?
I don't like turtles.
Oh, I know you don't like turtles. Okay. Our calendar is completely messed up. We are not supposed to have 12 months. We are supposed to have 13 months. Okay.
Oh, we don't like 13, right?
No, it's actually very good. First of all, let's look at it this way. We're supposed to have 13 months. Each month is supposed to be 28 days. 28 days coincides with women's cycles. 28 days coincides with the moon cycle. If we have 13 months at 28 days each, that would mean every week, Sunday to Saturday. Each week would automatically be Sunday to Saturday without this shifting. In other words, like the first day will always be Sunday, Monday to, and it would go perfectly in line without any shifting of months. We would not have a leap year. Instead, we would have the 1st of April, which is April Fool's Day, because April is supposed to be the first month of the year.
Yeah, but it's just like September is supposed to be 7, October's
exactly
8,
yes.
November's 9, and December is 10.
But
so
that's not what it means.
The whole calendar's messed up.
Correct.
Really?
The whole
calendar's messed
the whole
up.
calendar is messed up. We're supposed to have 13 months. When Constantine redid the calendar, when they did the Gregorian calendar and redid religion and all that other stuff, they messed up the time so that our bodies would not be in line with the sun and moon. Our bodies are supposed to be perfectly in line with the sun and moon. By adjusting this whole time where they made 12 months instead of 13 months. Zodiac signs. There's 13 zodiac signs. Why is there 13 zodiac signs if we only have 12 months?
How is there 13 zodiac signs?
There's 13.
I only know of 12.
There's 12? Wait, no, there's supposed to be 13.
No, one for every month.
No, because there's It's two. They coincide with each month. Like it cuts the months in half. Hold on.
One overlaps the other.
Right. They're supposed to be on 28. It's supposed to be on 28. Yeah, there's 13 zodiac signs. There's not 12. There's 13 zodiac signs.
Okay.
The reason is because the zodiac signs coincide with the 28 days. Our months supposed right. Our months are supposed to be 28 days, not 30 and 31 days.
Does this make me younger or older?
Good question. I'm trying to think.
It probably makes her older the way it is now.
I don't want it.
Because the other way, it would be 13 months would make you, 1 year older.
Correct.
No, I'm
so
good.
Every year you're losing a month.
I'm good.
That's right. So yes.
So at 12 years old, the way you are now, you would have been 13 instead of 12.
Right.
So you're older now than you would be with the other calendar.
But there's also
I'm
the
younger
theory
now than with the other calendar. If it was 13 months, I would be older.
No,
you would be younger. You would be younger.
You would be younger.
If it was 13 months.
Correct.
Right. You would be younger because I just said if you were 12 years old, you're 13 in reality. But the other calendar, you would only be 12 years old.
They just gypped me a year.
Well, more than a year, I think.
Yeah.
There is a satanic, I shouldn't say satanic. I'm not going to say this, but remember how I said how religion plays a part of this? And then there's this whole evil concept of these overseers. And one of the things that they try to do is they try to create a concept of time where our lives have an end point. So by creating a structure of time, because time really doesn't exist. Like there's so many theories like string theory or overlapping of time or something like that. If we didn't know that there is a concept of time, we would never know how old we are. And if we never know how old we are, then they wouldn't think that there is a demise to the end. Because if I said to you, I says, okay, Susana, you're 99 years old. Mentally, you would think, oh my God, I'm 99 years old. I'm at the end of my life. I'm going to die soon. I'm going to do this. Compared to if I say, Susana, you're 6 years old. You have your life ahead of you. If you don't have the concept of an ending in your life, then there's this belief that you can live for so long. And that's part of the whole energetic theory and a lot of reincarnation beliefs and stuff like that, is that they believe that we could live as long as they did back then. Because in the Bible, you had people live hundreds and hundreds of years. How did they live hundreds and hundreds of years? Was it A, it was a misrepresentation of time? That makes sense. Or B, was it because of the higher concentration of oxygen back then allowed them to live longer because they didn't have all the poisons? So they actually did live that long? Were they completely a different species that they lived longer than what we do? So there's so many different theories on a biblical standpoint of why people lived that long.
Maybe,
it makes us,
maybe 1 month to them was 1 year.
Yeah. That I think that makes sense.
Don't forget they didn't have cars,
Well,
so
we don't know that.
Well, I'm just saying maybe 1 month to them was 1 year.
There is a belief that civilizations before us were so far advanced. I mean, think about this. Who were the ones that made the pyramids? Why is there depictions of flying machines or nuclear things or electronics on pyramid walls in hieroglyphics? Why is that etched into thousands and thousands of years? And are we really that, what's the word I'm thinking of? Are we really that self-centered that we think that only now we developed technology? Have they really not had technology for thousands and thousands of years? So that's a very, very interesting question. Yeah, people lived in their Bible. But here's the question. There is that theory. I think it's called Devil's Canyon or in Arizona. Okay. Somebody mentioned Arizona earlier, but they have those big rock structures that look like mesas. It's like just a big rock structure with a flat end. They are saying that those are actually ancient trees, that they're not mountains. And if they're ancient trees, the amount of oxygen that would be given off those trees at that size makes you wonder, does higher oxygen make us live longer? It's something to think about. Yes, absolutely, Flag. The sun and moon are the calendar. The first scene is the crescent moon. It's at the beginning of the month. The end is the crescent moon. And then, yes, it goes into the new moon and then the full moon. Absolutely, Flag. So religion is the basis of everything. So religion is the root of all evil. Yes, but here's the question is, which religion do you believe in? Because a lot of these religions do have the same stories. And I mean, if you really want to talk about religion, we get into the Vatican. The Vatican and what they're hiding, particularly the Vatican Library. It is scary. I mean, the Vatican has a library that's over 36 miles long underneath Italy. It's a 36-mile long library of ancient texts and books from every single civilization ever recorded. And they don't allow the public in there. You have to be high up there. You have to be a special historian. Imagine the stuff that's in there, particularly all the books that they took out of the Bible. They took a lot of books out of the Bible that we don't know about, and who knows what kind of stories, particularly the stories about the giants. There's a book on the Bible that was taken out called the Book of the Giants. That was taken out. The Book of Enoch, that was taken out of the Bible. So there's some really interesting stories if we bring religion into this. But yes, religion and money, the root of all evil. Susana was like, you know, wait. You know what we're coming up to? I think we're coming up to the end. I've been talking for 30 hours straight. Let me see, what do I have left?
Can I say something to you?
You can say anything you want.
I have to say, I find you fascinating. Okay. Not necessarily I believe everything that you're saying, and I don't think you believe in a lot of the things that you're talking about either. But if you do, that's okay, because that's what makes us different. But I appreciate you because you're bringing more questions, and we learn more. Do you know what I mean? Because I never, ever, ever, honestly, ever thought about any of this until you've come into my life.
Oh, thank you.
So, and I've always said that I love to learn. I really do. I love to learn. I don't think if you go to school, get a college degree, you stop learning. That doesn't make you intelligent. Intelligence is learning every single day something different. So I appreciate you.
I'm learning a lot also.
Yeah. To me, it is so fascinating. It really, honestly is. And I really want to say in my heart, I do appreciate you and thank you. And thank you for being my friend.
Oh, you're going to make me cry.
No crying.
You know what it is? I'm gonna say something which is weird but interesting at the same time. If you questioned me about a year ago, what is your interest? What is your hobbies? What is your passion? I would never be able to answer you. Never did. I mean, and it was the weirdest thing. Like, I would talk to people and they'd be like, what do you like to do? I had nothing because my life was so messed up as far as bad relationship I was in. I was a workaholic. I was doing that. I never really found passion. Now I'm starting to explore different horizons. Now, yes, this is crazy stuff, but I feel like for the first time, I get to explore things that I want to do instead of exploring things what other people want me to do. And that's a very, very big distinction. So for me, when I see stories like this, it makes me wonder. And it's like, is this actually because what you said, I've never heard of this stuff either. I lived my whole life in a sheltered bubble, not from my mother, not her, I love her, but I lived my life in the sheltered bubble that I only saw the world in one way. And I always said that I enjoy looking at things differently. And that's just a talent that I have, is like, for me, it's never just black or white. It's everything in between. And I try to look at different perspectives. So this is a newfound passion for me. And yes, I think people may be right. It's making me think that I'm crazy. But the fact is, a lot of this stuff I don't believe. I really don't. I really don't even know if the world is flat or round. But the more I research it, the more it has me thinking. It's like, what if this is true? What if we've been lied to this entire time? Then what? I don't know. But a lot of these topics, amazingly, do come together. Almost every single show that we have, I somehow bring a previous show into place.
Yeah.
Because it all ties together. And it does make you, and I mean, okay, as Spirit Junkie said, yeah, she agrees that too. Lisa says it makes you think. Lisa, I never thought about this at all. And it says, I didn't start to think a lot about, but I never took the time to do any research or had anybody to talk about. Believe me, I will be honest. I'm the type of person that could read very fast, grasp things. That's always been a talent. So for me, I'll be honest, I did this research in about 20 minutes last night. I literally did this last night. We were watching TV and I'm sitting on the computer. I'm like, I'm doing research. That's exactly what we were doing. And I was talking to my mom at the same time and we're watching TV. So that's why I did this. So it's like, this stuff doesn't necessarily take me a long time to research at all.
Well, what's going to be the next subject?
I don't know. We got to vote on that. I don't have my vote.
It's got to be after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be after Thanksgiving. It'll be, I think we're bringing it up to the 1st, isn't that?
What if we have something that ties in with this? Go off of something from this.
Everything ties into this.
It's true. Yeah.
Let me just look at a calendar real quick. Oh, Flag says the Vatican. What do we have? The Vatican and some other deceivers. Here's a little tidbit that explains much. Look up Motors Big and Small 1970, then review the Circle of Magnetism. Review air gel versus flame. Oh, Flag, I'm going to write this stuff down. Thank you. All right. Okay, so wait a minute. Today is the 14th. What am I looking at? No, we're in November. Today's the 14th. Next week. Okay, so it's actually going to be Thursday the 30th. We're going to be back on Thursday's schedule?
Yeah.
Okay, Thursday the 30th. Yeah, we can do Thursday the 30th. Religious trauma and cults. Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, but that's too broad. Maybe you should do one cult, like the ones that killed all the people with Sinai.
No, we can do that. I actually like. There was a documentary that just came out that it was with Peter Dinklage is the narrator, the little guy from Game of Thrones. How to be a cult leader. If anybody sees that, it's
I saw that. I did see that. That's pretty scary.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But I mean, okay, I will say this. Oh yeah. You know what's funny? I had a friend named Flag, but I know that's not the same Flag, but it just made me think of him.
Yeah, Flag.
Yes. So you want to do religious trauma and cults? That's going to be tough.
I wanted to do a religious one with the Vatican.
Okay. We could tie. Actually, you know something? We should do the Vatican. That's going to be like the whole history of the Vatican. I mean, that's a broad one because I mentioned the Vatican lots of times. I mentioned it in regards to Flat Earth. I mentioned it about their library. If you look at how satanic the Vatican actually is, and then there's the whole theory that the Vatican is actually demons on the flip side, and the whole Christian religion is actually the promotion of the devil. That's a whole nother weird conspiracy. And I know I'm going to insult people on that one, but cults disguised as churches. You know something? Cults are not only described as disguised as churches either. They're also like motivational groups, therapy groups. So it's kind of scary with cults.
Hey, we got a church right next to us.
Are they cults?
No, they play the drums on Sunday night.
I warned my mother that that the house is going to be shaking on Sunday morning, and then all of a sudden she's like, "What the hell is that music?" I said, "That's a church. The whole house is shaking." Lisa says that's going to be a two-parter. Yeah, we could talk about cults. What are we doing? Vatican or cults? Flip a coin.
I'd like to do Vatican, but
Vatican.
Okay, Lisa, we are going to do cults. We will. But let's do Vatican. And you know something? I might even tie into that. And yeah, the one
then the week after that, do cults.
Yeah, the one I'm trying to avoid, like I'm really trying to avoid, is demons. I know I mention demons every now and then, but I keep saying I'm avoiding that. I'm avoiding because I almost don't want to invite demons in.
No.
Nope.
Just let me know.
Okay,
I want to put sage up. I'll get my holy water. I'll bring garlic.
Oh, yeah, get the holy water out.
Holy rollers.
Okay.
Okay.
Next door. Seriously.
Mom, cover your ears for a minute, okay? Mommy needs to cover her ears. I could tell you stories about holy rollers and the whole religion thing, because like my grandmother was heavily into religion. Yeah, just cover your ears. So we'll discuss that. Okay, you can cover your ears. That's why I just cover your ears. You didn't hear this, but yeah, we will talk about that stuff. I think religion is a very, very interesting one, and I know when we discuss religion, we always talk about it from the Christianity, Catholicism point of view. There are so many different things talking about other religions as well, and to tie that in makes it really interesting. But as far as the Vatican, I am going to say this, that the Vatican is one of the most evil institutions, and they are in line with the whole Rothschild. They are in line with I'm just going to throw out some ideas. Do your own research if you want to do research, but check into the Rothschilds and also check into United States, Britain, and the Vatican and how that ties in together with their treaties. So
yes, pass the sage.
Say the last part again, Mel.
I said tie into the United States, Britain, and the Vatican and their treaties together.
Okay.
It's very, very interesting. So, and it all goes up to with the Rothschilds, that whole family. So if you want to do some research on your own, research some of those things that I just said. Rothschilds, yes. My daughter goes through and spreads salt in the windowsills and door. Yeah, that's salt is a purifier, and it's also protection. So if you, and I mean, a lot of people are against the whole pentagram idea, the circle with the 5-pointed star. That's actually protection. That's not an evil sign. It's the church that made it evil. Oh, you're all my friends running into you this morning. Oh, thank you so much, Flag. Be sure to like and subscribe. I normally do some auctions, but this week it is going to be the Vatican. Yes, we're going to be doing the Vatican. For anybody, my sales, I'm going to be stopping the sales for the rest of the week. I have surgery on Friday, but next week, I'm going to try to be back. We're not having a show next Thursday because it's obviously Thanksgiving. So we want everybody to enjoy their Thanksgiving and enjoy the whole family fun time togetherness.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yes. But yes, on the 30th. So November 30th, we're going back to a Thursday as opposed to Tuesday. Yeah, this was just a weird.
This is the first Thanksgiving we're going to have in 9 years together.
I know.
Yeah.
Have you hit on Flag's channel?
No.
I just did.
I got to add Flag. Ooh.
Holy.
Is it good stuff?
He's got some pretty good things here.
Ooh. And you know something? I didn't even realize he wasn't. Oh, come on! My screen is black. Hold on, guys. I know I'm frozen.
I just subbed to him.
Flag, we're gonna sub to you, and I'm gonna make you blue as well. Welcome to the channel. We do these shows every Thursday, but like I says, with this week with my surgery, and then with next week with Thanksgiving, we're just taking a break this week. That's why I wanted to have a show, because I didn't want to go 2 weeks without a show. I'll go through withdrawals, because I feel like this is my fun show of the week. I said to Susana, I'm like, Susana, out of all the shows, this is my favorite show.
What? This one here, the Flat Earth? Because you've been wanting to do it for a long time.
Because it's so interesting, you know, to hear all the different
Mel,
sides.
you're muted. You're muted, Mel. You're still muted.
You can come in here and talk.
Maybe she's on the phone with someone.
No, I was frozen. For some reason, it muted when I was frozen. So I have no idea. Okay, so I just added Flag as... So you're blue. I'm going to sub to you. So Flag, you got a whole bunch of subs today. But yes, we do this show every Thursday. And what I meant is I love the paranormal show as opposed to auctions, because I just get to talk and rattle, and I like these shows. I do. I like these shows. What can I say?
Oh, Lisa, that's awesome.
Oh, Lisa says the favorite show of the week. It's my favorite show too.
Lisa, what about my show on Wednesday? What?
Who's your next guest? Do you have a guest for next, or you're skipping next week?
No, I'm doing a show tomorrow, but it's just the O Susana show. I'm not interviewing anyone.
You're not interviewing, okay? Because tomorrow I don't. Yeah, no, we're not going to be home. We're out of town. Damn. I keep missing her show. Ooh, Flag, you got some interesting stuff.
That's what I said.
Cool.
I went on there and I was like, he's pretty interesting. Oh, she's pretty interesting. I'm not sure.
I love it. Yes. Yes. Yeah, I don't know how I got muted. My whole screen went black, and that's what happens. So, but we have been talking for 3.5 hours.
It doesn't feel like it was 3.5 hours, actually, this one.
Originally, this only was supposed to be an hour show. Like,
Yeah, my hiney hurts from sitting so long.
When Susana and I started this, we said, oh, we'll do an hour show to see how it goes. We've been doing like 3-hour, 4-hour shows because Melanie can't shut up. And then, of course, people ask questions, and I get all excited. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I have an answer for that. I have an answer for that. And I mean, that's why I find these theories interesting, because whatever you guys could throw at me, there's like an alternating, contradicting answer, which makes your mind go like this. And it's like, okay, so what do you believe? I just feel like I'm the crazy person that's going around in circles, and who knows what happens.
I'm on at 11 tomorrow. Tomorrow, Wednesday at 11. But I am actually blessed that Melanie asked me to do this with her. I was like really surprised. I'm like, but I don't know none of this stuff, but I'm also intrigued, you know? So yeah, I do appreciate you. Thank you.
I will be honest. I mean, okay, maybe it's getting into the wrong thing, but I would love to do a show, like psychologically show, like okay, ones that talk about possibly like mental health or inspiration or motivation. I would love to do a show like that as well.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
So if anybody ever wants to join me, or if you want to do another show, I would love to do a talk show like that as well.
I would love it.
But, okay, we will talk then, because we might do.
I would love to do an inspirational show, because I'm not just going to bring the good shit, like, oh yeah, you know, no, somebody pisses you off, tell them they pissed you off. Don't hold it inside, because, you know, we talk about being slaves. We're slaves to ourselves,
Mhm.
to our own
We're our own worst enemies. We really are.
We're our own worst enemies.
Mhm.
Live your
So,
truth.
okay, I think I'm going to talk to Susana. We might start something, who knows? But I would love to do a show like that because I'm actually enjoying talk shows more than I'm enjoying sales. I am, but I'm still selling. I got to still sell. I'm done for the week though. With this week, there's just too much going on, and like I said, with my upcoming surgery, I'm going to be down for a little bit.
The next couple of days.
Yeah, and I got
God's
to take it
gonna be
easy.
with you. He's going to hold his arms around you.
Thank you.
You will.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed that everything's going to be okay. But I said if Mom's going home on the 24th, everything's okay. If she's staying, then that means it's not okay. So I'm like, Mom, I'm sending you home. Go home. Go home. We want her to go home.
Yeah. I don't want to stay.
She even said the other day, she's like, what did you say? You're driving me crazy.
No, I said by the end of the 3 weeks, are we going to put up with each other?
No, we're having a great time, though. We really are.
I know you are. You've been wanting this for so long, so excited for your mom to come. 100%.
So
we're really having a good time.
Yeah.
You know.
She loves you.
Yeah. So, yeah, and like I said, it's just the only downside is I have been very, very tired. So that's why I'm trying to take it easy. So it's like I don't have the stamina. I don't have the energy to do things that I normally do as if it's no problem. And that's been the biggest challenge. So that's why I've been reducing the shows. I mean, even with us going out, I have to take breaks. I'm like, okay, Mom, it's time to sit down. So,
Hey, Mel. Okay, we'll talk about it after in the back. Okay.
Oh, that's fine. All right, so guys, November 30th, that's the Thursday, we're going to be doing the Vatican and religion, right? Religion and the Vatican? Okay. Oh, yeah. Prepare for that. Get your mind blown because we're going to talk about it from so many different aspects. And guess what? It ties in everything that we talked about in the past because that's what I love doing. So all these shows are related. So everyone.
It's nice that they get along.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love you, Melanie.
Yes, we have a very good relationship. Yes. She's like, I mean, I have family, but she's my family. That's yeah. So everyone, have a great day. Have a safe, healthy, happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy it, and we will see you in 2 weeks. And thank you so much for being here. Don't forget, subscribe, the thumbs up, all the fun stuff, and take care. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.